please.
Let's see.
Let me just try adjusting this.
Yours is working for me. That's weird.
Yeah, that's so strange.
Is it because it's my Discord?
I'm not sure.
I don't think it matters what Discord I'm in. Does it?
I don't think so.
Hmm.
I think it depends on like if you're logged in or not.
That's weird.
I'm not entirely sure. I only just recently started using Fuki, so it's all good.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, man.
No, you're
I
fine.
I just set it up manually all the time for everybody, and I hate it. I hated
Yeah,
it so much.
it be like that sometimes. I literally had no idea what it was until a couple of weeks ago, actually, and I was like, "Wait, I don't have to do it manually for
Yeah,
everybody?
yeah.
What?"
It blew my mind when someone first showed me that.
Uh-huh. And I was like, "Why has no one told me this?"
Why?
Mhm. There we go, easy peasy. You're just a little penguin, just a small penguin.
That's me.
Just
I am very small.
a small penguin.
Okay.
Okay, I'm ready.
With all the discords. I don't know if you do this, but like, oh, let everybody know in every Discord I'm in.
That's fair.
No, trying to advertise all the
No, you're
time.
fine. Yes, please do.
So I don't know if it was in the anime, but we just got to that part with the baseball game.
Oh yes, I think it was briefly in the anime. I
Okay.
might need a refresher. I've actually I'm watching Higurashi So right now, and I watched Go, Sotsu I mean, and I watched Go, so it
Okay.
was like funny rewatching like I don't know, sort of reliving the OG, but like through the new stuff.
Yeah, the new series they're reboots, right?
No,
Or
it is completely new.
wait, really?
Oh yes.
Huh. So
It deceives you into thinking it's a reboot. It's not a reboot.
so it starts out the same, but then turns out way different.
Yep.
What the heck? I heard people were like, some people were like complaining about it because they expected something else. I guess that's
Yeah, I
what you
think
mean.
most people were expecting like a complete reboot. It's
uh,
just new content.
like completely new story from.
Completely new story. Everyone got baited and they deliberately on like advertised it as a reboot in order to trick people.
Wow, like a mindfuckery.
Yeah,
Wow.
seriously.
Wow. Interesting. Okay, let me start up the game, and then I'll
Sweet.
screen share with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna like hop on over to my just gaming stream right now. We got a blank screen, but it's fine. And now I am streaming. Wahoo!
Share my screen. Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh, let me set up a.
Oh, the cicadas.
Let me set up a collab command.
Take your time.
So people can know who you are.
Yeah. Is it this one? No, it's not that one. It's this one. There we go. My goodness, the cicadas. Now, like, whenever I, like, watch an anime or, like, I don't know, just hear cicadas in real life, I'm like, yeah, Higurashi time. Someone's gonna die, and that's just fine. That's just the way things are.
Does it give you the goose pimples? It does for me now. Shit. Like, once you hear him in Higurashi, that's all you hear.
Every
now.
anime, even if it's, like, not remotely anything like Higurashi.
Yeah. Just don't need that. See? Update. This. Now people can type in collab.
Yahoo!
And then they'll get your Twitch. There we go.
Awesome. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet.
So, do you want to do the female characters? I'll do the male.
Sure, yeah.
I cannot do female voices.
We'll be kind of fucked, like, if we get, like, exclusively a club scene, but we'll just roll with it.
Yeah. Alright. We just finished the chapter where I was. Did I look at the tips? I think we did. Yes, we did. Okay.
Okay. Oh, it's so funny just, like, seeing the game.
Yeah, it was funny because, the vanilla version of the visual novel, doesn't make clear who's talking.
Oh, no! Yeah, that's the way that it is with Umineko as well.
Yeah, and then I was playing it that way for a while, and then I found out there's a mod where it actually fixes all that, and I'm like, why did I start like this? Ah!
Is it the Witch Hunt mod, or is it? I think that's what it was back in the day for Umineko.
It is a 07th expansion mod.
Oh, okay. I think that might be the same.
I guess these came out on PS3 in Japan or something, and then they just patched it to be like that.
Yes.
So it looks it has new backgrounds. It has sprites that are animated when they talk. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it tells you who's talking, so it pretty much fixes everything, all the problems.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Make sure my stream is going. Okay, it's good. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start off. All right then.
And we're starting off.
Here we go.
We're off.
You want to do the mom?
Oh yes. Look out for cars. Look out for cars, honey. Be back before dinner time.
Look out for trucks. Don't want to get isekai'd in this horror.
No.
You're in the horror movie, not the isekai. Today was the day of the barbecue party that was the Hinamizawa Fighters' victory celebration. Of course, I, having prepared myself, skipped breakfast in order to stay hungry. Though with all the club members coming, it was pretty possible there would be a contest based on how fast or how much you could eat. Reina was already at her usual meeting place.
Maybe.
Mion arrived a few minutes later.
Great. Let's get going. This old man skipped breakfast and is starving to death.
So funny how she keeps calling herself an old man.
I know, it's so funny.
I expected nothing less.
It's like, Mion, you're like 15, shut up.
I'm like, when you're like twice their age, you're like, what the fuck, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Melody, welcome. Congrats on being the first. I expected nothing less. I too went without breakfast, and am now in top physical condition.
Wow, you two, skipping breakfast is bad for your health. Rena made sure to eat something.
You just raised your voice, didn't you?
Yeah.
Your pitch.
So
I love
what?
it. I love it. I love it. Good.
I have to try. I remember being like a fucking baby, like watching Higurashi and being like, yeah, I want to voice act, and like wanting to imitate the characters a little bit. I was a baby fucking weeb when I was first introduced to this series. It was just very nostalgic for me.
That's adorable, and I love it. Yeah, you're great, Reina. Breakfast is an important part of the day. I'm sure you'll surpass that underdeveloped Mion. Get yourself a nice, sexy body and be all over the dirty magazines. Jesus.
Oh, the dirty magazines. If I get a nice body, then maybe a prince on a white horse will come by for Rena too?
This fucking game, man. Definitely not happening. If you won't take responsibility for them, Kei-chan, then don't give Rena any silly ideas. She might start eating breakfast 3 times a day starting tomorrow.
Yeah, I could see Reina doing that. Wait, who did this gluttonous princess think was going to come for her? Well, anyway, we're all nice and hungry. Let's go treat ourselves at the big barbecue party.
Yeah! And then Rena goes, yeah!
The heck? Just me or did the freaking music come out?
Oh.
Playing music playing.
Maybe it's just a little quiet.
That's weird. The venue for said barbecue was to be the Furuta Shrine grounds where Rika-chan lived. They held events and festivals there, and barbecues too. It was the place that held all sorts of ceremonies in Hinamizawa. Come to think of it, there was supposed to be a big village festival coming up, wasn't there? Watanagashi or something? The scenery you could see from that high up was fairly superb, and the calm atmosphere particular to shrines was something fairly difficult to find in the city. We left our bicycles at the bottom of the shrine steps and broke into a mad dash up the stairs. When we arrived on the shrine grounds, the Hinamizawa fighters and their fathers had already gathered and begun setting up for the barbecue early. Of course, Satoko and Rika-chan were there as well. When they noticed our arrivals, they waved at us.
Oh, so you managed not to forget about this?
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Curses! If you all hadn't come, there wouldn't have been that much more meat for me. How truly disappointing it is.
You underestimate us, Satoko. Now that we have arrived, you don't think you'll be able to have even one bite of that fabulously marbled beef, do you? Remember when we ate our buento here? You and I have shit. You and I have a fatal difference in reach. I'll be overwhelming you once again.
What? I cannot allow that to happen by any means.
Try and shout all you want. You'll just be watching us fill our mouths with beef. Don't worry though. We'll give the peppers and onions to you.
I'll give Satoko lots and lots of grilled squash too.
Your voice tone just went way up right now. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yeah, I have to put in my all.
When Satoko heard the word squash, her complexion changed color. When she took my overwhelming reach into account, she knew it wasn't just a threat, it could actually happen.
I'll go tell the coach. I'll tell him you really love squash. If it's for you, I bet he'll get a whole mountain of specialty squash from all over Japan.
Wow, good for you, Satoko. You'll have your pick of the squash. You can have squash from dawn till dusk, 3 meals a day.
Ah! Rena! Everyone's bullying me!
Satoko tried to leap into Reina's chest. Oh no. Clearly, given another second, Reina's mock punches would have us. Damn it! Reina's mock punches would have us piled on the ground.
Good job!
I kept thinking it would say piled us on the ground, whatever. So just before Satoko hit Reina, I grabbed her by the nape of the neck and pulled her back. A superb reaction with only seconds of foresight. At least it was supposed to be. But for Reina, when I caught the leaping, crying Satoko, it looked like I was keeping her to myself.
Oh no.
Oof.
Oof!
Bam, bam! Wham, bam, money grab!
The attack.
How?
Oh dear.
No, Keiichi-kun! This is Rena's, okay? I'm taking her home! Rena-san! Beat up Mion-san and Rika like that, too!
Whoa, hold on there.
Yeah!
Mion fucking dies ASMR.
Bam, bam, bam! Oh shit, what happened? Well, thank you for the host, Melody. I appreciate it.
Okay. Now where could Rika be? There she is! Reno-san over there! Just wait, Satoko-chan! I'll take care of her right away! Then I'm bringing you straight home! Me.
Rika fucking hates it here.
Me! Satoko, you're mean! How?
God damn it.
Rika-chan's so cute too! I'm gonna take her home!
God damn it. Okay, so there's like a running joke in my stream right now. One of my redeems is a Discord kitten voice. I feel as though the people in my stream who fucking torment with me with that reward are really getting their fill right now, because it's essentially just gonna be Discord kitten voice, you know, going ooh woo, like the entire fucking stream, and I hope they're happy.
Oh my god. There's gonna be lots of clips of that, I bet. Oh Jesus.
No!
Thank you, look at chat, scuff stream. Higurashi's not on screen, Pengu, it's just a black box where what the fuck?
Oh
no! No!
Yes, I'm tearing my ears out. It's so good. So it's good. Good, I'm glad Fireblaze. Thanks for showing up. I hope you're having a good night.
I am so stupid. Thank you, Melody.
And Lan, you're pogging. Hell yeah. Keep pogging. Thank you for showing up.
God damn it. God damn it. Okay, now the game's on fucking screen. Ugh. Well, I guess we can watch Plums for the first bit of that. Oh well. Okay, can you do that again? I didn't hear it.
Fuck, I'm sorry, I was muted.
Whoops.
Okay, hi. Yes, all right, we're good. Yeah, you know, they got the nice audio experience. They could just like listen to your stream, shut their eyes, really like picture it, you know?
Yeah.
All right, I have to Satoko laugh.
Oh god.
Rika! It serves you right!
Satoko laughed in a shrill voice at Rika-chan and Reina's unproductive game tag while we watched them sprawled out on the ground.
Oh, fuck this guy.
Are you alright, my Bara-san? Tonosaki-san? The coach came over and lent us a hand.
Yeah, this is just how we communicate, that's all.
Roughhousing.
Yeah, don't mind us.
If the way we communicate ends us leaving bruises on my face, then I don't want any more to do with it. You never learn, do you? Laughed the couch loudly. It made us start to laugh too. Satoko's laughter, Rika-chan's yelling, and Reina's strange voice were kind of comfortable to hear. The adults here knew what they were doing, so the barbecue was ready in short order. As the salad oil dripped down on the plate with a hiss, there was a loud cheer. When the coach brought over a big plate with all the meat on it, we all cheered again.
Yippee! Wahoo!
Wow, this meat looks amazing! Coach, you really did splurge on it!
I did make a promise. Can you tell how much all of this weighs?
So
It really did. It really did cost me a lot.
Of course it did! Third-rate meat wouldn't be enough of a reward for everything I did yesterday. Yeah! Satoko-chan's really the guest of honor today.
Yeah, Satoko was the one who hit the last home run after all. Might have caught the guy off guard, but the arc it flew was long and true.
Satoko is pretty athletic.
Not bad at all. She could be one of the best of our generation. She doesn't fall behind in physical ability even compared to me.
Maybe Satoko-chan has a big future in the world of sports. Stop singing my praises. You're making me blush.
Munch, munch. Munch, munch, munch.
Satoko, for whom the excessive praise made her not notice the moderately grilled meat being stolen one after another, was just far too cute. My brother-san, this is heavy. Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun were carrying something over to us. It was a huge barbecue plate. Whoa! The barbecue's protagonist has arrived. The plate was chock full of skewers with vegetables and meat on them. The grilled, burning hot meat juices made a shh noise as they drizzled off. Hey, welcome, Kitten Shop. Good to see you. Gulp. You need a lot of heat for cooking something on a metal skewer, so they had grilled the whole plate at once. Yep, can't have a barbecue without some of these. You can say that again. I'll help out, so let's get it over here. Up we go!
Wow! Look! It's amazing!
Everyone greeted us with a cheer.
Wahoo!
Each person received a skewer with vegetables and big pieces of meat on it. They also received paper cups filled to the brim with juice. In our right hand were pounds of piping hot barbecue. That sounded kind of weird.
Piping hot barbecue. Alright.
And left was a cup of juice that I could chug down. This didn't make you want to dance? You weren't a man. What?
What?
What kind of juice was that, buddy?
Buddy?
I can't hold back any longer. I'm gobbling it down like a turkey.
Okay, you go.
Gobble, 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 gobble. The fucking turkey now.
Not just yet, Kate-chan. We've got a little ceremony first.
Can I have your attention, everyone? The coach, with a cup of beer in his hand, mounted the nearby beer cooler. This was supposed to be a victory celebration, after all. We needed an opening statement. Damn, I hope it ends soon. For every second this goes on, a little more of the food's freshness goes away.
Oh!
No! Satoko stomped down on the back of my foot.
My word! Men your age are so greedy. Can you not wait a little more elegantly?
Is everything I'm thinking really showing on my face? Okay, is everyone listening? We won a huge game yesterday. It had become a hard battle after that amazing pitcher came in. But thanks to equally reliable saviors on our side, we scored a beautiful turnaround victory. Clap, clap, clap.
Clap, clap, clap.
Both my hands were full, so the adults and older brothers gave us a round of applause. This is to celebrate that victory. As promised, I got a ton of delicious meat for everyone. Eat as much as you want and use that energy on our next game. Then, after a few words of thanks to the fathers and brothers who helped with the barbecue, he led us in a toast. Cheers! They said that when toasting, you would normally down the contents of your cup. But we were young. At the toast, all of us immediately began to dig into our skewers. After that, it got really lively with everyone congratulating one another for things they did during the game. Like how someone did a great catch, or how awesome someone looked when stealing a base. Of course, they congratulated me too, the savior who appeared to fight against the Koshian pitcher. Well, even what I did was all thanks to Satoko.
Satoko did have a plan. But you're the only one who could have won over Kameda like you did, K-chan. Am I still muted? Let's find out. No, I'm not. Okay, awesome.
Nope.
You did more than enough to deserve praise. I'm just that kind of person where, like, if I'm talking to chat, I like muting myself because I feel bad, like, if somebody else's stream can, like, hear me. Like, talking about something completely irrelevant. So if I'm, like, accidentally muted, I'm so sorry.
I got you.
By the way, Keiichi-kun, you went to eat cake with Kameda-kun after that, didn't you? You looked like you were best friends.
The seeds of friendship sprouting between male rivals, something like that?
That's sort of, well, it's... How...
I violently brushed through Reina's hair as she turned red in the face for some reason at the mention of friendship between males, dispensing her pleasant-seeming ideas.
Rena?
Uh-oh.
Honey?
Did I say Rena?
What?
Did I say Rena?
You've been saying Reina.
Oh shit, is it the... Ah!
It's actually Rena, yeah.
Dang it, okay.
Actually, I normally, like, I really, like, wouldn't fucking care. But actually, that is, like, kind of, like, a plot point for Higurashi as well, with,
Really?
like, the pronunciation of her name. Wait, have you not read all through it?
No, actually.
Oh, I won't say anything, but yes, it's pronounced Rena.
Okay, I will... Duly noted.
You'll get to that eventually.
Now then, where's the hero, or rather, the heroine, Satoko? Oh, there she is. Satoko was with Rika-chan in the middle of bragging her heart out about the home run yesterday. And her teammates spared no compliment to her, since even though he was going easy on her, the fact that she hit a throw from a Koshian pitcher was something else. Satoko was more loquacious than usual. It seems she was in a great mood. She was flying so high that I thought for a moment about getting a word in to tease her. But she was the leading actress today, so I decided not to bully her at all. As I watched Satoko going at things as lively as usual under the sun, it struck to me that it didn't quite line up with the pleasant time I'd spent with her. But both of those were the real Satoko. I didn't care which it was, her smiling happily or making a big, lively fuss like this. Just as long as she would keep smiling like this forever. She looks like she's having fun. Quite a lot of it. The coach had approached me from behind before I realized it. As he gazed at Satoko from afar, like I had been doing, he addressed me. So I could tell he was talking about her. Doesn't it just cleanse your soul to see Satoko-chan smiling? He smiled, refreshed, searching for confirmation. I felt a little embarrassed to admit it, so against my better judgment, I played it off. Really? I don't think your smile could cleanse so much as a plate. I'm sure Satoko-chan would be mad if she heard that. But that part of her is very cute too. Leaving her cuteness aside, I could understand him thinking Satoko getting angry for being teased would be funny. Mr. Idia, was it? It's Ide. I don't actually. How do you pronounce that? Ide, Idie? Everyone calls me Coach though. I'd be very happy if he called me Coach as well, my Bara-san. As he said that, Coach Idea smiled, blushing a little. Coach, you seem to like Satoko a lot.
He's just a fucking weird guy. He's just a weird dude.
Tell me he's not that kind of guy.
With Higurashi in general, like, the main criticism of Higurashi is, like, just, you know, the inappropriate ways in which children are depicted.
Oh,
and,
boy. That part
Irie,
oh, God.
I don't know how it is in the VN, but it's very fan servicey in the anime and the manga, and Irie doesn't fucking help.
Oh, God.
Uh-huh.
That part hasn't aged well about this, has it?
No, it has not.
No.
Absolutely not.
No. I didn't have any real basis for saying that. It was just that it felt too to be true.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. Yes. I do like her. I love her, in fact. Oh, dear. When she gets older, I'm thinking of asking her to marry me. What? This guy really says some insane stuff, doesn't he? After being astonished by this, I hurried to put my mind back in order. I'd heard that this coach guy was the kind of person who'd said crazy things out of nowhere. According to Mion, if I took everything he said seriously, I physically wouldn't be able to take it. I guess so. If I was able to ignore that part of him, he seemed like he'd be a really funny guy. My better-san. That surprised you? Could it be you're going after Satoko-chan yourself? That would bother me then. I've been going after her for decades now. You don't... Coach, Satoko hasn't even been alive for much longer than a decade. Coach gave a dry grin and laughed. Was this how I should be doing it? I must somehow master the art of responding to this coach guy. No. Respond by calling the police.
Yeah.
After that, I received many words of praise for my actions, almost too many. As that conversation was happening, leaving aside the controversial statements that this coach person would spout suddenly, I learned he was very composed and not a bad guy by any stretch. This really has not aged at all.
No, absolutely not.
No.
Mm-hmm.
I think Satoko deserves more praise for that crazy home run she got. I honestly didn't think she had it in her. Satoko-chan's older brother was more the quiet bookworm type. He probably inherited the exact opposite skill set. Her brother? Right, he meant Satoshi. One of the Satoko and ran away from home. Satoko's Nini. Satoshi Hojo. Do you not know about him? Satoko-chan's older brother, I mean. His name is Satoshi Hojo-kun. And he played with the Hinamizawa Fighters too. I wanted him to play a lot more, but then he transferred. Huh? I see. So he transferred. Yeah, maybe that was a little more considerate than saying he ran away. Now that he mentioned it, I think it was Rena, I think. You said Satoshi transferred too? I didn't know the details of him having run away from home at the time, so I didn't pay much attention to it, but...
Had to sus.
Only her brother transferred? That's sort of unusual. Everyone having fun was far away, and their cheerful voices distant. The chorus of the cicadas... Is it choir or chorus? Am I saying
Chorus.
that wrong? Chorus?
No,
Okay.
you're good.
Okay. The chorus of the cicadas separated us from them, giving me a sense of distance. At first, I thought my own voice was too soft for even me to hear. But for a really long time, Coach didn't respond to my words. So at this point, I began to wonder if I had said something I shouldn't have. Just when I began to feel impatient, Coach finally spoke. Something unfortunate happened.
Sus.
A few things, actually. Are we finally getting to the spooky parts?
Maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit.
Maybe. After informing me that what he was about to say was a secret, Coach began to talk, a little at a time. It's been 3 years already. Right around this time of year, I think. Satoko-chan's parents were in an accident. An accident? Yes. At a public park they visited while on vacation, they fell from a viewing platform. It was supposed to be just a little time away from the house with the family. They went for a walk on a path through a nature park after it had rained. There was a little viewing platform that looked like they had a good view. That was the stage on which the tragedy was set. The metal fixtures in the viewing platform fence had deteriorated from time, and with all the rain they had just gotten, they might have loosened somewhat. Right before Satoko's eyes, both the fence and her parents fell. Oh wow, great.
Oof.
There was a river some tens of meters below. The water level was high due to the rain, and apparently very muddy. And her parents? Coach gave a thin but melancholic smile and touched his paper cup to his lips. Without saying anything, I knew how unfortunate that accident was, and how Satoko's parents had left on an eternal vacation.
That's one way to describe it.
Oh wow. Then Satoko is... well... I was so focused on being careful with my words that I lost what I was going to say. A single word: orphaned. I knew how little consideration it showed and how much it would hurt Satoko without having to say it out loud. Come to think of it, Satoko lived with Rika-chan. At least, that's what I thought I heard from others. Wait, Rika-chan, her father died from illness too, and her mother soon after. I felt like I heard she was living by herself. Yes, she's living with Furuta-san right now. They've probably lived many discouraging days without any parents, but they've gotten along by helping each other. Going on living without the protection of parents is very difficult for kids that age, I think. Maibara-san, you can probably understand that as well. I've only survived because I rely on my parents, so the only reply I could give was to nod. Furuta-san is particularly beloved by the older people in the village. As long as she's here, she won't want for much. But think of it, you're right. Rika-chan kinda seems like the village mascot sometimes. I don't think she'd have a hard time living here. Rika-chan could go meep just once and get 2 or 3 croquettes from a vendor after all. I feel like if she asked for help, everyone in the village would. But that only applies to Furuta-san in particular. Satoko-chan doesn't have it the same way. Rika being so spoiled was just an exception. Upon thinking about it normally, living on your own as a child should be fraught with difficulty. It wasn't, then, very difficult to imagine how much suffering Satoko had to go through just to live. It wasn't very difficult to imagine. Was I really thinking that? No, I was only thinking the words. I couldn't imagine it in the slightest. How was I supposed to imagine it when I saw that annoying smile of hers? There's no way I could. I found out she was living apart from her brother, and I just kind of vaguely thought that it was rather unfortunate. I mean, Satoko was smiling so energetically every single day. Was I really thinking that her smiling meant she wasn't hurt? That she didn't feel lonely? When she found out my parents were coming home from the other night, Satoko said, "A family sitting around the dinner table is the most fun way to enjoy a meal at all." Those words held a lot more weight now. I've seriously considered adopting her. Huh?
Okay, sir, first you say adopting her, then you say you want to marry her. Kinda sus.
Yeah, if he just said adopted and then that was it, that would have been okay.
Yeah, yeah.
That actually would have been sweet.
It actually would have been sweet. Yeah, exactly.
guy
But he
just-
had to fucking go and say, yeah, I want to marry Satoko one day. I'm genuinely in love with her. That's just, sir.
He couldn't have been just like the nice guy, like adopted
Right?
father, but no, had to get fucking creepy.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, huh? Adoption? It's a secret. After warning me, Coach put his index finger to his lips. I've lived a really steady life all these years. I have money and a good reputation. But marriage is the one thing I never got around to. By law, obviously, a single individual can't adopt a child. So I can't make Satoko-chan my adopted daughter. What a shame. Didn't take long for my plan to get her to call me Papa to hit a setback. This guy sprouts some crazy stuff.
I'm glad Keiichi knows. Keiichi understands. He's a bro.
But he's like, I'm gonna marry Rika so I can adopt Satoko or some bullshit. No, don't do that. No.
He's the worst.
Oh god. This guy spouts some crazy stuff. At first, I was only half listening. But midway through, I realized how rude that was. This coach person seriously only wished for this one girl, Satoko, to be happy. That was neither crazy, nor was it nonsense. He just wanted her to be happy. Those were his true feelings. Satoko-chan's current lifestyle is probably not a very happy one. But you know. I want to make it easier for her, even if it's only a little. Of course, I can't do much for her, but share my leftover food and do errands that she's not strong enough to do. You're wrong. Satoko's happy. Huh? Coach showed surprise at my having declared that. There are so many people all around her that really want her to be happy. She can't possibly feel otherwise. I spoke with a serious expression, quietly, but firmly, all the same. It was my approval of his feelings, and my gratitude to Satoko's Nini. Thank you. Still, keep this a secret from Satoko-chan, okay? If she knew I wanted to adopt her, she'd probably get mad and call me a pervert for wanting me to call her Papa. Wonder why. Ha ha ha. God. I wonder. Satoko may have been somewhat childish, but she was still able to empathize with people. She'd call him that. I knew it. As if my feelings had gotten across, Coach grinned, satisfied, and returned his gaze to the hustle and bustle before us. Her parents and her older brother. She lost her family, had no relatives, and was huddled up with Rika-chan, who was in the same situation. Satoko Hojo. It wouldn't be odd for her to look at her life with despair, but she didn't seem to feel that way. She lived energetically with a smile. I want her to keep smiling forever. It was a naive wish, and yet it was one that he couldn't help hoping for. So, the words that I spoke with are the same. What a coincidence. I think the same way. Oh, you too, my brother-kun? Then that makes us friends. Let's make a promise. A promise? It's a very simple one, the coach said this, giving me a grin. That we will never, ever make her cry. It was short and to the point. Yeah. I promise too. Coach nodded happily. We exchanged no more words after that. We just sat there comfortably, gazing at Satoko and everyone else having a good time. She'd certainly lost family, but there were people watching over her. How reassuring must that have been? Just hypothetically, if you did adopt Satoko, what would you do? That's a tough one. Coach gave a wry, happy smile, then exaggeratedly tilted his head in contemplation.
Well, first, I would get her to call me master and make her into a lovely, kind-hearted maid.
Oh, my Shion, my beloved.
What? How does this guy always pick the craziest time to say the craziest things? My brother-kun. Haven't said anything yet? What are you talking about? I heard it loud and clear.
Oh, that's right. I clearly said I would make Satoko into my own personal pretty maid.
Oh, Shion.
Shion.
Ah, that sounds nice. Satoko-chan, all pretty. Oh,
Shut up!
Oh, good God!
Oh, pretty and purity are really hard to differentiate, right? Be careful with mixing refined Japanese words and English together.
I get it. Honestly, the intricacies of the language know no bounds.
That's right. Kei-chan, you do understand. Then, with that, it's time for...
My hand shot out and grabbed Shion, smiling, waving, and about to leave by the nape of her neck. Hey, wait right here! Don't just show up out of nowhere and start saying crazy stuff.
Speaking of saying crazy stuff, I thought the Saltico love talk you two were having with the coach was pretty crazy too. Yeah, it really was. I can perform a reenactment of the adoption bit. Want to see?
Whoa! Whoa!
What was the sound effect for that?
You've been hiding ever since then?
Kei-chan, you can't even beat my sister! You're 100 years too early to challenge me! Cuckoo.
Why is Shion... She's like a clone of Mion, but then like she's like a million times sexier. I don't know, it's like they look the same, but she comes off way... Oof.
Wife.
Oof. I beg your pardon. Welcome, Cold Club. Welcome. This was Shion Sonozaki, the younger of the Sonozaki twins. Though she hadn't a scrap of the reserved quality you expect from a little sister. She was a villain no better than her older sister Mion. We met the other day in town, and I dug myself into a hole when I mistook her for Mion. Unlike Mion, Shion said she was living in Okonomiya, so I thought we'd never see each other again, but to think we actually would. My frankly displeased expression didn't change a bit either. This must be what people mean when they say something is like water off a duck's back. Shion-san, you came. I was disappointed because I thought you wouldn't make it. Okay, Cold Club, thank you.
Well, I couldn't think of anything else to do, really.
Derp, sorry.
No! Oh, by all means, voice Shion, please.
No! No! I cannot do that good of a job.
I figured I'd come and tease you all a little.
Coach, why did you need to call Shion to her victory celebration? How did she contribute to our team's win?
Well, you see, I'm actually the manager for the Hinamizawa Fighters.
The manager?
The manager.
The manager. No way. Then why weren't you at the game yesterday?
That's because I'm like a ghost manager.
She seemed to think I'd forgiven her if she stuck her tongue out and smiled. She wasn't sorry at all. The match wasn't nearly as pretty without you here. I won't tell you not to come to practices, but couldn't you at least come to games to root for us like you used to?
I'll think about it. Maybe I will if Kei-chan joins the Hinamizawa Fighters. I can't get into a cheering mood when there's no good-looking guy on the team.
Huh? Did Shion just smoothly say something absurd?
Shion! You little... Where did you come from?
Suddenly, Mion came running over, latched onto my shoulders, and pulled me towards her.
Now I'm gonna have to voice everybody.
It's Mi-chan's little sister! Hello, Shi-chan!
Hello, Rena-san. I'm honored you remembered my name. We only met once.
Oh, not at all! Thanks for remembering Rena's name, too!
Cut the stupid greetings. You're not allowed to solicit Kei-chan. Oh. He's the hope of our club.
I love seeing these two fight over him.
Don't pull him out and put him in a baseball. In baseball, like he's some kind of plant.
Put him in a baseball!
Put him in baseball.
Inside of a baseball. That's funny. It's a Pokemon. He's a Pokemon now. Mion gave a low growl as she grappled my arm. She looked like a little girl desperately clinging to a toy.
Yep, Keiichi-kun is the star rookie of our club. We could never trade him away.
Reina's smile hit a nonchalant bloodthirst.
Fucking same.
Wow, she was blocking Shion's way, ready to unleash an ultimate attack as she got within 2 meters of me. I felt like this was going to turn into a bloody battle.
She had to think before laughing. I think that's funny. That's too bad. We'll leave the negotiations for another time. You don't have the right to negotiate. Coach, why did you call Shion here too? She's a ghost member. She's been slacking off for the last year.
I just thought it would be even more fun if Shion-chan was there. Yep. It definitely worked. That was what he planned for all along. Mission accomplished.
Hey! Kei-chan, come over here! We're all playing a game! With strings attached, of course. What the fuck does that mean?
Shi-chan, how about you? The rules are simple and it'll be fun.
Should I? I'll just win if I join in, after all. I don't want to ruin my sister's presidential image.
Hey kitten, what do you think of Plum's amazing voice acting?
Ah, no.
Oh goodness. Such dynamics in tone.
Thanks.
Or should I say pitch of the voice, yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Oh man, I'm impressed. Mion, now irritated, turned around with a glare.
What is it, my sister? What does mean? Should I join in to make this battle of the siblings? For your sake, I don't think we should, but if you want to. Damn, Shion's ready to fight. Blah. I won't let you play, Shion. We're leaving you out. Blah. Blah.
Whoa, Mion just avoided a direct confrontation. Like, she's just like, come on, motherfucker, do it.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, I don't want to.
Shion's like that sprite of Shion. You've seen the image of the cat with like the knife like by its face and it just like looks really smug.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Shion right now.
She's like, fuck around, find out.
Yep, she's the smug knife cat. Fuck around and find out.
Yep. It seems like the twins were completely incompatible with each other.
You won't let her play? I was looking forward to seeing you two face off.
I hate Shion. I'm bad against her. No, Mion.
Uh-oh. An angry Mion dragged me away. Slide.
Do your best. I'll be rooting for you. Go for it, Kei-chan. Yay.
Mion made her slide out of her DMs.
Oh.
Shion waved her hand at us, reveling in the bliss of teasing Mion. Alright. Club activities have begun, which meant I needed to clear my mind. What was today's battle? Today's punishment game. I'd take anything on.
Okay, Keiichi-san. You better prepare yourself. We're going all out today.
Great, bring it on. Stuck or not, I'll crush you all mercilessly.
Rena will profit from your battle and fish herself up a win. Then I'll get all the manta rays first and ride them to victory. Rika-chan is flat like a manta ray. I want to take you home.
Okay, everyone. We have a lot of people today, so let's play something easy and simple. Today's game is...
To be continued.
To be continued.
No, that's like the middle of the chapter marker right there.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone who lost the game dropped out and had to help clean up after the barbecue.
Oof.
Oof.
Just wait till I get to do an evil laugh if I get to do one.
Oh boy.
I'm prepared. I'm so ready.
Oh my.
Except I don't think we're gonna be able to get to it. She.
Yeah, like each chapter starts off with like a ton of slice of life stuff.
Yup.
Finally, and then it finally gets into the spooky stuff later.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Dion laughed more uproariously than anyone I'd ever heard when she saw my loser face. Okay. Was my getting bombed out of the game really that funny?
Man, oh man, Kei-chan's face. He was like, "How can you still call yourselves human?"
Damn it! I had it all worked out when I brought up the scissors. If only Satoko and Rika-chan hadn't betrayed me.
What did they play?
Rock, paper, scissors, maybe? It was going great while we maintained a united front. But Satoko had been quicker to betray me than I her. She was just a tiny bit better than me. Ugh. I warned you about trusting Hojo. Tomita-kun Okama... Oh heck, Koenig! Welcome, Koenig! Thank you for the raid, buddy! Let me give you a shout out.
Yeah, raid.
Welcome, Raiders. I am the Ice Emperor Penguinato, and today I'm reading with Plum.
Yeah.
And we are reading Higurashi right now. And we're doing a lot of slice of life reading for the moment. But yeah, welcome,
no spooky stuff yet.
Welcome. Kick back, enjoy your stay, and listen to the voice acting. Plum here is very talented, and I'm very happy to have her here today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to just like finally find somebody who actually knows what Higurashi is.
Yeah. If y'all want to check out Plum, that's her Twitch right there.
Oh, thank you.
Most def out of the last two might have shortened my life a bit. Uh-oh.
Oh?
Okay. Tomita-kun and Okamoto-kun were unanimously wearing I told you so faces. Incidentally, those two were victims of Satoko's traps pretty early on as well. Damn. I was trying to do well enough to make up for you two. And once again, for the showdown, it didn't matter. Maybe this meant I still couldn't match up to the other members yet.
You were going to have the lowest ranked member of the club play a punishment game, weren't you?
Shion remarked, as though forcing me to recall something I tried to forget even for a moment. Is that right? Come to think of it, Maibara-san, when you came up with the punishment game with the president, you looked really heated up. What on earth did you decide on?
Earlier, Mion told me to get an Angel Mort uniform ready. Oh no!
Oh god, really?
Does that have anything to do with it? She told me to get the biggest size I could find.
With the biggest chest size, maybe.
Ooh, hate you with the titties.
He has to like stuff his shirt. Okay, Tomita-kun and Okamoto-kun were giving me these complex, indescribable looks, mixing empathy, pity, and the desire to see something scary all at once. What? What? All I could do now was laugh. Strangely, the more I laughed, the more I felt like it was actually funny.
You do you, my guy.
I lost!
I love how they use like a giant fucking explosion sound effect.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
They have very dramatic sound effects. Actually, the sound effects are actually pretty great for this novel.
Yeah. But that one in particular, it's like funny in a very ironic, like Facebook boomer, like video kind of way, you know?
Oh god,
it's so good.
Oh my god. But when we get to the actual spooky shit, Like the sound effects
Ooh,
are
okay.
actually
Oh, I'm so excited to hear that if I ever get to go to another one.
The sound effects hit real good, actually.
Ooh. And the soundtrack, too.
Yeah, definitely. Oh my. Aibara-san, what's the matter? You're smiling, crying, and howling.
It's okay. He's just pretending not to like it. He can't hide his excitement at the opportunity to gain valuable experience using the punishment game as an excuse. Right? Star.
Whoa! What do you mean, valuable experience?
It's so dumb.
I had my head in hands in agony. My state of mind could be summed up with a 3-letter word. It was... stop. Oh, I thought it was gonna be ass, but... Coach gently put his hands on my shoulders. Was he comforting me? Aibara-san. In times where you must In times where you must accept your gay side. Just imagine that you're a maid on the receiving end of some strict disciplining. What?
What the fuck?
Wow, I was gonna say, just pretend to be, like, fabulous.
Oh my god!
See? Doesn't the hopeless situation seem kind of fun now? Star. Yeah, it's nice, isn't it? Oh my.
Oh, this game.
This is getting worse. This guy keeps getting worse.
He's absolute fucking worst.
He just keeps getting worse.
He keeps getting worse.
Red in the face and indulging in his imagination, still holding my shoulders, Coach said.
Oh, no!
Oh, master! And started twirling around like a ballerina. Why are you... Stop getting worse. Stop.
Stop it.
I had to
Sir.
wonder what kind of word associations he had going on in his head. At the very least, it was much different than what was in mine. The first thing that comes into mind when I think of disciplining certainly isn't maids. Tomita-kun. Okamura-kun. Your coach is pretty funny. I'm surprised he can even be a coach.
Me too.
Yeah, Tomita-kun
Yeah.
and Okamura-kun exchanged glances and answered with dry smiles. Then they added that he was a really nice person most of the time, which is something you'd normally say about a person like that. The coach's questionable revolutions slowed to a stop, and then his expression returned to a clear, calm one, almost making what just happened to seem like an illusion. He can switch gears way too fast. Then let us start cleaning up. Aibara-san, you seem quite strong. Could you bring the plates over to the wash basins and clean them? Right on it. I hoisted the dirty barbecue plates, each with slimy oil clinging to it, and looked for the wash basins. Arr, these are heavy. Where are the wash basins? Over there? Figuring I should make it there before my arms gave out, I headed towards it at a trot. A lot of adults who had been helping out were using the wash basins, so I gave up and looked for a different set. I asked them, and they told me there were more right by the assembly hall too, so I decided to head that way. Rather than multiple basins, there was just one faucet there. I initially thought it would be too small to wash plates as big as this, but it would probably still be faster than waiting for a faucet to open up back there. I turned the faucet, and water much nicer looking than it gushed forth. I put a plate under the faucet and scrubbed it with my hand to try and rub it clean. It didn't go very well.
Here you go. A sponge and dish soap. Dish soap. You can't... Dish soap. You can't wash them with just water.
It was Shion. He threw a brand new sponge container filled with cleaner to me. Oh, thanks.
You should have just put them by the basins and left it to the grown-ups. You're always doing the right thing.
I got the feeling that wasn't quite a compliment. I answered her with a forced smile. I was surprised to learn you're the manager for the Hinamizawa Fighters. I thought you didn't do stuff like that because it's too much of a bother.
Yes. It is quite a bother. That's why I've stopped showing up entirely.
Didn't Coach say he wanted you to come back? You should pay a visit once in a while.
If I feel like it, I guess.
Gio made it sound like the end of the world could happen before she felt like it. Whoops. I couldn't keep washing the dishes while preoccupied with conversation, so I decided to take my task seriously. Dion neither offered to help nor got in my way. She just quietly watched the water flowing from the faucet. I just have to tell you a story. Okay, Cold Club, what is it?
Oh, I'm interested. Oh, right. I heard something. You were the star player in yesterday's game, weren't you?
Nova hit the home run, so I think she was a real star player. I didn't know she had those kind of reflexes. It surprised me.
She's totally different from Satoshi-kun. There's not much doubt that all the athletic ability in the family went to her.
Dion smiled as she spoke, her eyes looking at something far away, betraying her reminiscence. Satoshi-kun?
Satoko Hojo's older brother.
Hold on, let's see. Cold Club says, a man was in his lab one day. When he drank a potion, he had not tested it, and after he drank it, he transformed into a pickle. Haha.
Oh my god, no!
Why, Cold Club? Why?
No!
Why, Cold Club? Oh my god.
Cursed.
My IQ just dropped. Fuck. Me dumb now. How read? I can't read anymore. Thanks, Cold Club. I can't read no more.
Funniest shit I've ever seen.
Whoa. Okay.
Satoshi Hojo-kun? Oh, right. You just moved here this year, didn't you, Kei-chan? You wouldn't have ever met him.
I was a little surprised that Shion knew about Satoshi. Never met him, but I know a little. After their parents passed away, he transferred to a different school, right? I avoided saying that he ran away from home, and he used slightly more vague words than anyone else did.
Transferred? Who said anything like that?
Uh-oh. I hadn't yet realized that Shion's tone had changed slightly. Well, I mean, who was it then? Yeah, I heard it from someone that he transferred.
Who?
Yeah, this
cutscene, though.
This is kinda spooky.
Who? You said that because you asked someone, right?
Who did I ask? I don't really remember. Even so, he transferred, so that's it, right? Not like there's a problem with it.
There is one. Does that mean there's a record of his transfer? To another school? And that someone saw it? Or heard about it?
Around that time, I not only noticed how awfully caught up on this Shion was, but also how startlingly dangerous her eyes began to look. Shion? What's up? You look really serious. With that, Shion seemed to realize the expression she was making. She took a deep breath, pretended to fix her hair, and went back to her composed expression from before.
I'm sorry.
The way this just changed right here, that's great.
Yeah.
Like, it was all dark, it was like dark outside, and now it's like bright and happy.
No, it's not.
No, that's good, it's good.
But, Kei-chan, you don't know much about Satoshi-kun, so please don't say that he transferred or anything like that. I'm serious. Please.
I realized I must have said something I shouldn't have. But I wasn't immediately sure of what I should apologize for, so I just said one safe word for now. Sorry. I just sort of heard he transferred and believed it. Is it actually something else? It was, of course. Preceded by his parents, he had left his sister and run away. But I wanted to try and avoid the words run away, so I pretended not to know. Upon seeing my flustered reply, Shion realized she was intimidating me and lowered her voice.
I'm sorry. I'm not blaming you for anything, Kei-chan. I was being a little harsh. I apologize.
I didn't really mind. That was a fib. I was actually a little scared, even. Was there something wrong with saying he ran away? There's something sort of misunderstanding in saying that he transferred? But before I could ask her, she turned on her heel to leave. Hey, Shion.
Right, good luck with those. Looks like your plate is last. That's the last one you need to wash.
Her final remark reminded me of the dishes I had so easily forgotten about. So immersed in conversation were we that it got pretty late. I turned the faucet again to get the water flowing faster. Whoosh!
Whoosh!
I violently scrubbed the plate. When I turned back around, Shion was no longer there. By the time I'd finished washing the plates, most of the other things had been cleaned up. The air had cooled off before I'd realized it, and as the heat that had struck with us all day dispersed, a nice breeze started to blow. Well, it must feel nice.
I love a good summer breeze.
Yep. Plum gets 2021 humor, Shion. Is this the horror part? We got like a taste of it.
Just a taste of it.
Just a little taste. Okay, everyone, can I have your attention? Coach got everyone together to make his closing remarks. And with that, another fun day drew to its close. In the end, Mion ended the game with a magnificent victory. Satoko and Rika-chan, who had labored so hard to betray me, had fallen into a huge trap afterwards, leaving them frustrated with more than a few things. People who betray others will one day be betrayed themselves. Never been more true, huh?
What kind of noise is that?
You're not the one I want to hear that from, Keiichi-san. Rena didn't fall for anyone's tricks. That's how I got second! Rena doesn't buy into lies very easily. She has a sharp wit.
I'm surprised. She seems like she would fall for the first lie to come her way.
Funny you should say that, Kei-chan. You desired to prey upon others, and right away you became the prey instead. Make sure you don't fall for those dumb schemes that promise higher returns, that promise higher returns the more friends you rope in, okay?
Yeah. I'll try harder. Sob. Even good friends will lay traps mercilessly and betray everyone in sight once they get into a serious enough game. But despite that, once it's all over, they can feel refreshed and laugh together. It reminded me of how well we were all such great friends.
Anyways, I'm looking forward to Keiichi-san's punishment game. However, you really, how can you really implement such a thing? I would think that the store manager would have said a thing or two about it, no? I wonder. Maybe Keiichi-kun would be really cute. I kind of want to see.
Star.
How? I'm on the edge of my seat. I will trip him up and make him wipe the floor.
That would be great.
Oh, God. Why couldn't I win now of all times? Whenever
gosh.
Whenever
the quality freaking dropped, and it was so hard to read that just now.
Whenever I think I'll definitely win today, and that I'll make someone else play the punishment game, I lose. Is it not enough? Do I not believe hard enough in victory?
smiling of the loser tastes like sweet honey. How sad, how sad. Pat pat.
Uh-oh.
This is how you get stronger, Keiichi-kun. It's like I'm looking at Mii-chan from last year.
Mii-chan last year? What? Did she always lose and moan about it in the past? How very interesting. I didn't know our undefeated president Mion was once like that.
No need to talk about that.
Mion hastily covered Reina's mouth. Reina, damn. It's gonna be a while before I get that right.
No, you're good.
Ugh.
No, like literally to go like 3 chapters. No, you're good. You're fine.
I think when I first started reading this, I was like, is it Reina or Rena? And someone said Reina, so I'm like, oh, fuck it, I'll go with that. Oh well.
Oh well.
Everyone watching burst out laughing. Finally, Rika-chan pulled out Toko's sleeve.
Okay. We should be going soon. Oh yes, we must go shopping for dinner, mustn't we?
I wanted to keep talking like this forever, but it was getting late. We split up with Satoko and Rika-chan and decided to get on our way home.
Alright, bye. See you tomorrow at school.
Everyone waved to each other and split up for the short time between now and tomorrow.
Okay, let's go.
Are we gonna go to the dump? I wanna go to the dump.
We haven't since the first chapter, actually.
Oh.
It would be interesting to go back to the dump. We began walking down the tall staircase leading to the shrine grounds. As the sun started to set, the afternoon's heat began to disappear as though it were never there. Just listening to the chorus of the Higurashi was enough to make me forget about how hot it had been today. Jeez.
Come to think of it, it's still June, huh? We didn't have a rainy season at all this year. Like, all of a sudden it's just summer, you know?
Now that I thought about it, she was right. It was June, the season of long rain, of hydrangeas and snails. Did I say that? Hydrangeas?
Yeah.
Okay. I haven't seen a real rainy season since transferring here.
According to the weather forecast, it's supposed to get more rainy during the first part of the week. They were warning people about heavy showers. I hope it doesn't run into Watanagashi.
That's right. The rainy season's supposed to be rainy.
Really? Really?
Really?
Wow!
Rena likes all the rain in the rainy season.
What? So much rain just makes me depressed. Hey, Kei-chan.
Huh? Ah! I was a little spaced out, so I was late in answering Mion. I was thinking back to my conversation with your sister. When I said that Satoshi transferred, Shion clearly got angry. He was mad at me for saying something so careless. I mean, it may have been a vague way of skirting around the fact that he ran away from home. But I don't think it was so bad that Shion would need to feel mad about it. I wasn't really satisfied with it. I felt like a child, completely ignorant of what he was being scolded for. So my thoughts spilled out of my mouth in a very direct fashion. Satoko had a brother, right? Named Satoshi, I think?
What?
As soon as I said the name Satoshi, Reina and Mion both lost their relaxed, comfortable mood and made strange expressions. Should I have avoided talking about this? That's what made me think. But I've already said it, so that's that. I'd be lying if I wasn't interested, if I said I wasn't interested. What happened to Satoshi again? Did he move away? That was such a transparent way of putting it, but in my desire to know everything, I feigned ignorance. Mion turned around and looked to Reina for assistance. Reina looked between us, then quietly and softly spoke.
Wait, did we not tell you? He transferred out.
When I said those words to Shion, she got upset. So I answered with the same words Shion had given me. Transferred? Who told you something like that?
Huh?
I'd only intended to borrow Shion's words, but I said it exactly the same way she had, right down to the thorns in my voice. When I realized what I had done, I immediately tried to soften my remarks. If he really transferred, there would be records of it at school and stuff, right? But is there actually anything like that? Mion and Rena, their eyes grew wide. They were at a loss for words. I started to feel like I was doing something really bad. I thought they were only hiding the fact that Satoko's older brother ran away out of consideration for her. I'm not trying to blame you for anything, okay? I just wanted to ask what happened to Satoshi, that's all. I wasn't trying to blame them. The fact that I had to remind them even looked like I was tormenting them with an impossible question. No, maybe it was actually bullying them. Maybe I had lashed out on them in retaliation for Shion getting mad at me. This whole day has been so much fun, but now... Why did I go and say something that made all of that meaningless? I couldn't help but regret my own careless curiosity. That's enough, let's drop it now. I was about to say that, Shion spoke up.
Well, it's not like we were hiding it or lying. I hope you understand that's not what we were trying to do.
Mion's tone conveyed her genuine awkwardness. They sounded like the excuses of a child who's been represented with evidence of her own mischief.
Satoshi, well, he didn't transfer schools. Oh, the music gets creepy.
Mion said, resigning herself. But I felt bad for pushing her to say that. So, it's okay, Mion. Let's stop talking about Satoshi. Sorry for teasing you. I wanted to apologize. Right before that...
He won't come back.
What? Unlike Mion's stammered reply, Reina was extremely clear and resolute. He won't come back? What?
He won't come back home ever since that day.
Oh, I love this music.
Mm-hmm.
Let me turn it up a little bit. Just a teeny bit.
Yes, please do.
Maybe a little more. There we go.
Yeah, that's good.
He won't come back? That was a very strange way of putting it. Normally, you would say that he hadn't come back yet. And last, I thought you'd only say it like Rena did if he wasn't capable of coming back. You wouldn't say it like that when talking about someone who ran away from home. What do you mean he won't come back? Where did Satoshi go?
Don't know.
Rena's word choice felt very cold to me. It was so cold that I couldn't muster a response right away.
Well, she's right. After that day, Satoshi hasn't returned home.
Miao noticed the deadlock between us and hurriedly followed up on what Reina had said. Rena.
Well, that is, everyone in the village searched for him, and we even got the police to help us look. And, well, they started thinking that maybe he ran away.
They started thinking he maybe ran away? When running away from home, I thought you were supposed to leave a note or something. So when Satoshi ran away, you'd probably have left some kind of letter apologizing to Satoko. That was just kind of what I had figured. But from the way Mion was talking, it seemed a little different than just running away from home. He's dead. Not spoilers, by the way, just speculation. I think it's obvious that he's dead because, I mean, other chapters, I think they said he died or disappeared, so it's like, probably dead.
The police did an investigation.
Derp.
Derp. Satoshi had been earning money at a part-time job, and he had some put aside. And they learned that on the day he vanished, he withdrew it all. And then, at Nagoya Station or something, they spotted someone who looked a lot like Satoshi.
He withdrew all his savings to fund his escape from home. Is that it? It seemed consistent enough to me, before I could say anything.
I think that's a lie. Satoshi-kun didn't run away.
Declared Rena shortly.
Hey, wait. If he didn't transfer schools, or move away, and he didn't run away from home, then what on earth?
Stop it, Rena.
Mion whispered to her. Rena, however, continued without interruption, and said this.
Because it was Oyashiro-sama's curse.
Huh? A curse? Took some time before I understood what Rena meant by that. Mion clicked her tongue and shook her head a little.
Oh, the creepy eyes.
Oh, shit!
The creepy eyes!
Oh, that came out of nowhere! Fuck!
Satoshi talked to me before he disappeared. He said someone was watching him. Stalking him. They even followed him home. He told me that when he went to bed, they were standing there at his bedside, looking down at him.
Stop it, Rena.
It's a portent of Oyashiro-sama's curse, there's no doubt. I think, somewhere deep down, Satoshi-kun was probably thinking about abandoning Hinamizawa and running away. And Oyashiro-sama wouldn't allow that.
I said stop it.
Oyashiro-sama is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa.
Rev, thank you for the raid, my friend. Welcome, welcome, raiders. Welcome.
Things are getting creepy.
Ast, thank you for the follow. Rev, thank you so much for the raid. Let me see. Let me give you a shout out, my friend. Welcome, welcome, raiders. How was your stream, Enyo? Welcome, raiders. My name is the Ice Emperor Penguinato, and I'm here today with Plum. And
Hi.
we are reading Higurashi Chapter 3. And we are just now getting spooky, it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Is that a Club Penguin emote? Really?
Club Penguin.
No, I need those emotes. I need them. Oh, no. Here, one sub emote. Someone has Club Penguin emotes for their sub?
I feel like you could probably buy them on Etsy.
Huh. I didn't think that was, like, legal.
Yeah,
For
just
copyrighted images?
Oh, for copyrighted images, I'm not sure. Maybe for, like, Discord or something.
They have a Club Penguin sub emote.
Unless they would think of it as, for sub emotes? Or...
Kind
I
of
mean, unless it's, like, considered fan art. I'm not sure if it falls under, like, fan art shit. I'm not sure.
Kind of super scuffed, but there's only so much avoidance of scuff with 14 streamers in one event. Yeah, I've done events like that. It's a pain. Jeez, just scheduling an event with 14 people is a pain.
No, what? That's wild.
Yeah, we did a big Penguin VTuber collab.
That's so good.
Yeah, we did it way back in December, and it was such a pain getting it off the ground.
Yeah.
Oof. But yeah, thank you for the raid. What were you guys up to? What was your event? I need to fix my shoutout command so it says what they were playing. It only says go follow this person. I need to, like, fix... But yeah, welcome, raiders. Kick back, enjoy the voice acting, and let's get spooky, huh?
Let's get spooky.
Right. Oyashiro-sama is the guardian deity of Hinamizawa. He would never allow anyone to abandon Hinamizawa and run away. I apologized for it. But Satoshi-kun probably didn't.
Oh, she's angry.
It must have been.
Uh-oh.
It must have been Oyashiro-sama's curse!
Oyashiro-sama's curse? I hadn't intended to repeat it, but the words came out of my mouth anyway. Oyashiro-sama's curse?
The The police may have said he ran away, but I don't believe it. I won't believe it, not ever. It's just a lie told by the self-important people in the village who don't want to admit it was the curse. And whether or not you believe in Oyashiro-sama's curse, it's...
Wham! Neon struck Reina in the head. Oh god.
She got fucking smacked.
Damn. And not in a joking way either.
I told you to give it a rest, didn't I? I try to be nice, but you're pushing me to my limits.
Pushing her to her limits. Actually, there was plenty of displeasure and anger at Mion's voice at that moment. For a few moments after being hit, Reina looked astonished. Perhaps the voices of the Higurashi calmed her frantic mind, because after a little while she regained her original calm expression. Man. Ooh.
Damn.
We arrived at the place we always split up with Mion. No one said a word until we got there. The voices of the Higurashi just tortured our ears with their buzzing. We'd always split up with Mion here, leaving just Reina and me.
Hey, Kei-chan. Didn't I promise to lend you some manga? Wanna come over real quick?
Huh? You promised that? However, I quickly realized it was a convenient way of saying she wanted to talk to me alone.
Oh, I see. Okay then, Rena will go home.
Maybe she realized it, maybe she didn't. Thankfully, Rena quickly said she'd go home before us.
Bye, Rena. See you tomorrow.
Bye, Felicia.
Bye, Felicia. Leave.
Yep. See you tomorrow. Keiichi-kun, don't be too much of a bother now. It's already evening.
I'm just going to borrow a few books. See ya. Considering the fun day we had, it was a very insipid, lonely parting.
Hey, don't worry too much about before.
After a little while, Mion finally spoke. Quite some time had passed since splitting up with Reina. Or Rena, fuck. Fight, fight, fight! Bye, Felicia. Shooting stars. Yep, pretty much. No, I'm not really. I think it was my fault anyway.
We weren't trying to hide anything about Satoshi. It's just one of those things that we shouldn't mention, you know?
At this point, I understood exactly what she meant by that. Judging by her odd interactions with Rena, I understood so well it hurt that I shouldn't ever talk about it again. Actually, if that's the case, then with Shion too. No, this is a bigger problem. Talking about it in the first place had been indiscreet. I shouldn't have been interested in it at all. But that's why I really had to think about it. About why everyone got so irritated. Idiot, stop this, Keiichi Maibara. By the time I tried to warn myself, I'd accidentally spoken already. I won't ask ever again. So could you tell me honestly? What on earth happened to Satoshi? He ran away, right? ... Silence. This is basically, will they do it or not, the manga. No. No, there are shooting stars outside of Higurashi, Animal Crossing. Oh, okay. Nice, nice. For a long time, Mion remained silent, but finally unable to endure it any longer, she began to speak timidly.
Have you ever heard about Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Just a little bit. I got the gist of it. Only heard someone in class talking about it, though. Oyashiro-sama was the name of the deity protecting Hinamizawa that they worship at the shrine we had the barbecue at today. A few years ago, when they started talking about flooding Hinamizawa as a part of a dam project, one of the people who worked on the site died or something, and people blamed it on Oyashiro-sama's curse. That's how it was.
Satoshi's dead parents. They were proponents of the dam project.
Huh? Wasn't everyone in the village against it? Why would they support the project if they lived here? The dam project that would flood the entirety of Hinamizawa. I'd heard the village all got up against it to fight the terrible project, but it was a little hard to believe there were villagers who were supporting it.
Well, there was a lot of stuff going on. But not everyone agreed to stand up to the dam proposal. Satoshi's parents were basically the leaders of those who were all for it.
Leaders of the ones for it? Satoko and Satoshi's parents?
Yeah. The government had gathered a lot of compensation money to exchange for the construction of the dam. There were plenty of people who agreed with the proposal because they wanted the money. ...
Aside from a few households, Hinamizawa was in general not very affluent. And not because they were proud to inherit the land of their ancestors. It wouldn't be strange if some people wanted enough money to start a new life. But even in that case, they would have had to hesitate to say so, given the situation. It just happened to be Satoko and Satoshi's parents who understood that and stood up to be their representative. By that standard, you might say Satoko and Satoshi's parents were very heroic. They volunteered to be hated, all to help those without much money who didn't have a voice.
And then their parents had bad luck. They died in an accident on the day of the festival honoring Oyashiro-sama. So people started to think that maybe it had been Oyashiro-sama's curse.
I thought back to what Coach told me today. They went to a nature park on a family outing, fell from a cliff. So, people thought even Satoshi running away from home was because of Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Well, yeah. Basically.
It was a bit of an evasive reply, but I felt it was wrong to ask any further, so I didn't press her for details.
I don't think I need to explain this, but for Satoko, her parents' accident and Satoshi running away, and all the business about Oyashiro-sama's curse, none of it's a very happy story, you know?
Yeah, of course I knew. I could only nod silently.
That's why we're not mentioning anything about Satoko's family. Even if someone asks about Satoshi, we just lie and say he transferred schools. You can understand why, right?
I wanted to protect Satoko's happiness, her smile. As someone who thought that way once, even for a short time, I really did regret having been impudent enough to broach the topic to begin with. Yeah, I get it. I'm sorry I asked something so careless. When she heard that, Mion smiled, seeming a little relieved. With that understanding, thinking that I should get going, I began to make my way home. I could really have stopped at Mion's house, but it was already late. I'd stop by again the next time I had the chance. Bye then, Mion. Sorry about today. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. Goodbye.
We waved to each other. Then, suddenly remembering something, Mion called out to me.
Kei-chan! One more thing! Not only around Satoko, could you keep quiet about Satoshi with Rena too?
Huh?
I think you realized earlier, but for some reason, when it comes to Oyashiro-sama's curse, she gets extremely serious. Ever since she transferred here. ...
Yeah, judging by how Reina was acting earlier, it was clearly no laughing matter to her. Mion had interrupted the conversation for us. But if Mion hadn't been there, what might have happened? Why would Reina be so serious about it? Not only Reina, either, but Shion too.
I don't know. Rena is... Oh, this is a secret, okay? If you tell anyone, we're not friends anymore.
Mion emphasized this as her expression clouded even further. I won't tell. What's this about Rena?
She says she's been a victim of Oyashiro-sama's curse before.
Huh?
Well, it may sound mean, but I think it might be a bad case of a persecution complex or some kind of wrong assumption. But she says so herself, so I believe her. If I poke fun at it, she gets pretty upset. Rena jokes about it all the time. Rena jokes around all the time, but she's really scary when she's mad.
I get it. Don't talk about it in front of Reina, right? That's Satoshi.
Yeah. If possible, I think we shouldn't talk about this ever again. For her sake. And for Satoko's.
And for everyone else's, too. And if I must say, for your own sake, too, Kei-chan. With your silence, Mion made sure I knew that. Yeah. Okay. I got it.
Thanks.
Saying only that, she waved her hand and began walking away. I watched her go, a little dazed, and then she started walking herself. Koko's older brother, Satoshi. Had he run away from home? Or had he been a victim of the curse and disappeared forever? Whichever the case, none of this was anything I should have asked about. The cooling air forced me into self-reflection. I wanted Satoko to smile. Yet, my curiosity easily defeated me, and I frivolously tried to step into the dark side of things in a joking way. I'm shameful. I wanted today to be exactly like yesterday. I wanted tomorrow to be just as fun today, too. So why did I go and do something like that? We were having a blast at the baseball game yesterday. Today we had a blast at the big barbecue party too. It was a lot of fun. But then I went almost nullified all of those fun times. I would have to be more careful starting tomorrow. I would put all this unpleasant stuff behind me forever. Like hell I'm gonna let my enjoyable life end because of how careless I was today. But the more I thought about that I'd be more careful starting tomorrow, the more I couldn't get rid of the ominous thought that I had already put an end to those enjoyable days with what I'd just done. ... Hey wait. Calm down, Keiichi, my bar. The gears of destiny are freaking gigantic, aren't they? What happened just now was trivial. It doesn't make any sense to think my life will be totally different starting tomorrow. But even though I understood it logically, the mist in my heart wasn't going to fade until tomorrow turned out to be as fun as today. I'm acting weird. I'm thinking a little too much about that conversation. I wish tomorrow would come already. I wanted it to make me understand how absurd my insignificant doubts really were. The night was long. Oof.
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 I just love how, like, unsettlingly a lot of, like, the portions of the chapters end.
Yeah.
And just, like, that fade to the cicadas and the fade out. It's so spooky. It's so nice.
Oh shit.
Oh shit.
Oh shit. Alright, we got tips. At the end
Wait, what are tips?
Tips are like little side stories you can read.
Oh, I see.
So there's like 8 chapters of Higurashi, right? And every chapter has like, its own chapters in that chapter. So after we finish a chapter, we get a bunch of tips to look at.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Lacking Manager is the first one. Dion-san, why don't you help me out a little?
Are you asking a girl to carry something heavy? This is why you still haven't found a nice lady at your age, coach. Damn.
Oof. Oof.
Damn.
Oof. Well, you see, at times like these, there's what people say, it's none of your business. He was loading the station wagon with heaps of equipment we'd use for today's barbecue meeting. All the fathers and sons who had helped were starting to get on their way. Alright, so Shion-san, why did you come all the way here? If you rode here on your bike, I can give you a lift.
Oh boy, it got blurry. I can't read. Okay, I did, but I'll be fine riding back. I appreciate your consideration.
I was glad you came today. Things don't quite fit right together without the manager here.
Am I still the manager? I've been shirking my duty for an entire year, so maybe you should just fire such an incompetent manager already.
Alright. Say you want to quit, then I'll fire you whenever you want.
Gah, that's not fair. Let me go soon, please. Every time I don't show up at a game, I get an annoying phone call, and I can't stand those.
If you're more honest with yourself, Xian-chan, you'd be far cuter. Your father is so sad. Why did he go so wrong to deserve such a rebellious daughter? Oh, perhaps if your father catches you in a big, loving embrace, it'll open your eyes? Well then, don't mind if I do! Come here!
What?
Oh god. Coach was fooling around with all his might, but Xian just smiled in the distance without responding.
Nothing's changed.
Derp! Derp! But
It's all good. You're still a weirdo, Coach, and everyone's still lively as ever.
even though Sakoshi-kun isn't here, is that what you wanted to say?
Da, da, da.
He'll come home. I'm sure of it. He has someone waiting for him.
Say whatever you want.
Sure is cruel, isn't he? Going off to who knows where, leaving such a cute girlfriend behind?
Girlfriend? Who? Who? Huh? Jeez. Quit laughing already. Coach!
Coach bent over and laughed heartily for a little while. We'll see each other again. Please come and root for us once in a while, okay?
If I feel like it. I have no desire to be the manager anymore, after all.
That's fine. If you don't like it, I'll fire you. I'm not the kind of person who likes forcing people to do things against their will.
Ugh. Okay, fine, fine. I'm sorry. You win this round. If I feel like it, I'll come root for you. So for today, just be patient.
Whoops, that time already. Past time to return all this. I'm already making them wait for me. I'll be leaving for today then. Let's meet again at the next game.
Yes, if I feel like it. Goodbye, Coach.
Okay.
Ah.
Copy of the preliminary autopsy.
Ooh.
The autopsy suggests the victim was killed in the following manner. 1. Entire body bound in restraints. Traces left behind from when the body seemed to have been bound indicated usage of a specific restraining table rather than rope or another common method. Finger joints on either hand appear to have been bound especially tightly. Highly likely that the table was either specially made or homemade given this information. 2. Both ears and nose severed with a sharp blade. Traces of the restraint and other things seem to suggest that there was at least one more other than the one who severed these body parts holding down the victim's head. Possible that multiple blades were used, with one of them most likely being scissors or shears. 3. 5 nails penetrated fingers on each hand. 1 long nail stuck in each joint of each finger on each hand for a total of 30. The deceased's fingernails, or fingers, were nailed to the wooden planks 20 square centimeters large. Extremely likely these planks were part of the restraining table. In addition, it is likely that the table was originally designed for just such a purpose. Number 4. Abdomen incised, intestines removed. The incision in the abdomen is likely to have been a technique grounded in medical methodology using a sharp blade. Estimated that there was still no threat to the victim's life at this stage.
Oof.
Oh god. After this, the organs inside the incision were dismantled and removed. The victim likely died as a result of this process. Oh shit. Number 5. Body disposed.
Yikes.
After fastening a dumbbell to the victim's neck using a commercial pet collar, the victim was likely abandoned in the Oji River's third drain. Judging by the dumbbell's weight, it is highly possible that they would have needed at least 3 grown men to have disposed of the body. Koishi-san. Here's a copy of the preliminary autopsy of the slaughtered corpse in the Oji River. Chief Shigeharu sees this as having a possible relation to the S group. What are your thoughts, Oishi-san? East round 3.
Oh.
There it is, Ron. I think Oishi is my favorite character.
Really?
Despite how much he invades people's personal space all the time and how annoying he is, I think he's the most interesting character, like personality-wise.
Fuck cops, but Oishi, he may be an exception.
He is trying to do the job, at least.
He's trying. He's trying.
Yeah. 3 Chuns, 3 Dora, Mangan with 1500 extra. What? What's up with that? How do you have 3 Dora? Idiot. You're the one who flipped over another Kandora when you knew Oishi was in Tenpai. Oh, fucking Mahjong.
Is this... Oh, Mahjong, yeah.
I wish I knew how Mahjong worked.
Same.
That's what you get. Getting more Dora is the only thing I could do after revealing the Chun. You can't discard a Dora tile after a Yakuhai is out.
There's like an episode of Higurashi Go, like the new one, where they just like dedicate like a solid like 10-15 fucking minutes to just like Oishi playing Mahjong with the kiddos. And it's like, God, I wish I understood what was going on right now, but I don't. I can't follow any of it.
Almost an entire episode of them playing Mahjong.
There's a lot of Mahjong talk in like one of, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Is it just part of the slice of life shit, or is it like part of the...
It's part of the slice of life shit, yeah. Okay. He just kind of like shows up out of nowhere, and then all the kids are like, oh my god, police officer Oishi, and he's just like, what's up, fellow kiddos? I'm just gonna show you how to do a super cool Mahjong move for no reason.
Were they at a diner or something, or
they were at the toy store in Okinomiya.
Okay. Oh, that makes more sense.
Yeah. He just kind of shows up. And he's like, oh, you kids playing Mahjong? I'm a Mahjong expert.
I'm a bit of a Mahjong expert myself, actually.
Yeah.
Oishi is pretty entertaining. Fuck cops, huh? Okay. I see you, Melody. I see you. Oishi grinned menacingly as his buddies, swearing, began breaking down the walls and reforming them. By the way, Oishi-san, identified her yet? What? Oh, the mutilated body in the drainage channel.
Yeah.
Oh, you mean that dead corpse?
Oh, you mean the dead body? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Any new leads come up? Yes, well, you'll have to find proof yourself, though. You're really something. Who was the deceased? Rina Mamiya. Actual name, Ritsuko. Apparently she worked for Blue Mermaid, a hostess bar on Shishibone Flower Road. Oof, that's a nasty place. Young leader of the Sonozaki owns it, right? Sonozaki, whoops! So it's related to the S group. That mountain will be tough to scale. Rumors say the deceased had been dipping into the Sonozaki's protection money, and on a pretty significant scale from what I've heard. A woman getting her hands on the protection money. Sounds like a man's behind it. Not a lot of women would do that sort of thing themselves. Well, he's dead anyway. The body just hasn't been found yet. How about that, Oishi-san? Her cohabitant's apparently alive. Alive? Maybe he'll die soon. Vermin usually exterminate other vermin. I think we have a very nice self-cleansing system going on. Fuck.
Damn.
Anyway, her man. It's... well, Teppei Hojo.
Ah, Tepe. He's the
Hojo?
worst. He's the
Who's that?
fucking worst.
I don't think we've met this person yet.
Oh no, you haven't.
Teppei Hojo, the husband of the housewife who was beaten to death last year in Hinamizawa. Oh god. I heard he disappeared after the incident, though. I get it. He was staying at his lover's place, huh? Right, you didn't mean literally? Oh boy.
Wait, what?
I'm so sorry. What are you talking about, Melody?
Oh.
Oh, no, I didn't mean that. No. Ah, Melody. And so the Sonozakis grow ever more suspicious. Where is he now? He was living in a woman's apartment. He must have thought she abandoned him, so he's been searching around shops and other gathering places. So we got
Tepe.
some scumbag we're gonna come up with, huh?
Yeah, he's the absolute worst.
What makes him so bad?
You'll find out. He's just the worst.
Okay, worse than every other
Yeah.
character we've seen so far.
Yes,
Okay.
absolutely. Morning, Keiichi. My. What time did you go to sleep?
I did not sleep well last night at all. My mother could tell from a single glance. I had the worst dreams. Nightmares, very ominous dreams, one after another, again and again. I woke up after each one, but could never even remember a fraction of what they had been about. But it was like those dreams were predicting something unpleasant. And I woke up in a terrible mood. Hey now. Every day he has been calm and fun before today, right? Those days should continue on, unchanging. And yet, anxiety was the only emotion growing within me. Why was that? Nightmares reflect on your own anxiety. They show an easy mind that which you wouldn't admit to normally. Yesterday, I remembered the ominous conversations about Satoshi I had, with Shion, Mion, and Reina. Right. My mind felt like it was in a black fog because we had talked about that. If I'd lived every day without causing a fuss, my reward would be ever more peaceful days. I understood that, so why did I cause such a discord? What? Now that I thought about it calmly, a simple verbal slip on my part couldn't possibly change the world. Yeah. As long as I'm sorry for doing it and never talk about it again, there's nothing that anyone can blame me for, right? Besides, how would my fate possibly change just because I talked about that? Nothing was going to change. Yeah. Nothing would change.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nothing would change. Nothing would change.
That's a creepy smile. If you're still half asleep, then go wash your face.
I'd finally cheered up enough to smile, and Mom slapped me right back down. Now I was irritated again. There wasn't much time left before I had to meet up with Reina. I frantically started to get ready to go to school.
Have a good day.
Derp.
Watch out for cars.
Don't get isekai. There's barely any cars to watch out for. In Hinamizawa, anyway. I dashed out the front door. The morning air was far more refreshing than the water on my face. That's right, Keiichi Maibara. If you're sorry enough about it and reflect upon your mistakes, that's enough. Now let's pull yourself together and get to school. And return to fun, enjoyable days. Where everyone laughs, plays, and just has a good time. It'll be nice to see Coco as an apology, too. Yeah.
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 Wasn't I supposed to be your Nini until Satoshi got back?
Good morning! Keiichi-kun?
Rana, too, looked nothing like she had yesterday. She had said that weird stuff. If I could only forget, then I could still act like nothing had happened. So I called out to her with all the energy I could muster. Hey! Morning, Reina. Early as usual today.
Ding ding ding.
Oh, welcome, Venus. Good morning. Good morning. There was a little time before the same old morning homeroom began. But Satoko and Rika-chan were usually absent. Maybe they went to play somewhere. However, looking over and seeing none of those things, it looked like they really hadn't come to school. Derp. Derp!
They're almost never late.
Reina seemed to be enjoying herself, thinking about what their excuse for being late would be. Mion said something nonsensical as well, imagining how funny the reason they were late must have been. I'd only come to school to see the energetic faces, since I figured it would get rid of these feelings I have. But the load on my chest remained where it was. I wasn't very pleasant at all.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, teacher. President, if you would. Everybody stand up.
Our teacher finally arrived. Then, finally, I heard the pitter-patter of doors' footsteps running down the hall. Clatter.
Clatter.
Rika-chan was the first to run through the open door. And then Satoko. Didn't come. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. You're late, Furude-san.
Why can't the coach like the teacher or some shit, like normal?
I know, right?
Come on.
Come on. She's hot, like the teacher.
And being an anime teacher, she's probably single too, so.
Yeah. She goes, Ara. Where's Hojo-san?
It was unusual for Rika-chan to be late, but equally unusual for Satoko, a ball of energy, to be absent at all. Everyone's eyes are wide at the series of strange events.
Satoko might be a little bit late.
Has she come down with something?
The teacher walked over to Rika-chan and they started talking in hushed tones. Uh-oh.
Ruh-roh. Ah! Just laugh away the pain. Rika-chan is late and Satoko is absent. I guess crazy things can happen.
Kind of sus the way she said that.
Yeah.
She's like, I wonder what happened.
Yeah, you're late. They're late. I guess crazy things can happen. Everything's fine.
You're right. But I wonder what happened to Satoko.
Blech, I almost choked on my own spit. Everything's fine.
No.
Is she sick?
You got the COVID?
Satoko got COVID. No.
Oh, shit. Didn't get the vaccine soon enough, huh? Why now, when I most wanted to see Satoko's energetic face? The unease that had been building up since last night tightened around my chest.
Kei-chan, you worry too much. Sometimes... Oh man, the lag. The pixels gotta catch up. The pixels gotta catch up. There we go.
No. Oh no!
It's just like the Discord stream. It's all good. Sometimes girls of her age can't help but stay homesick.
Mi-chan, you're not supposed to say that around boys.
Oh god. Mion laughed indecently. Normally I would laugh along with her, but right now, I just didn't feel like it. Ugh.
Ew, girls. Icky.
Girls. Homeroom ended, and we went to talk to Rika-chan in the short time we had before our first period started. Hey, Rika-chan. You look so sad, so very sad, when getting yelled at for being late. I'll make sure to pet you today.
She gets the head pats. She's a good girl. She deserves them.
Head pats are fine. I was very aware of the gloom this morning, so I strove to keep my tone cheerful. I petted Rika-chan's head the same way she always did. She didn't cheer up at all. Man.
Me.
It's so weird. So they changed, so in the VN, her catchphrase is meep?
Mm-hmm.
Oh. Wait, do you know what it is in the anime?
No, actually. Or I don't remember.
Oh.
What was it in the
She
anime?
goes, Nipa!
Ipa, okay.
Nipa!
Actually, Nipa is the sound effect I have for my channel for my tip notification.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, actually, I think the vanilla of this visual novel has Deepa.
Oh, okay.
I think I remember her saying that when I first started reading this. But then
Oh, okay.
I think the mod changes it to Meep.
Mm-hmm.
So I think the mod wants her to be the fucking Roadrunner from Looney Tunes or something. That was the joke I made earlier. He goes Nipa in here too.
Nipa.
Nipa. What happened to Satoko? Did she get COVID?
Did she get COVID?
For instance, she got a fever from playing around too much yesterday. Oh, it's a symptom!
Oh no.
If that had been her response, I would have accepted it in a flash. ...
Dot dot dot.
But the atmosphere around Rika-chan felt somewhat heavy. It was a little weird and actually made my unease worse.
Hey, come on. There's certain things she can't talk to boys about.
Oh my god.
Neon. Kei-chan, back to your seat.
Mion, acting like a club president, pulled me back to my chair. Rika-chan's gaze immediately fell back to her desk, and she hung her head gloomily. Wow. Rika-chan had something odd that Satoko might be a little late. They were living together, weren't they? Then she would have known for sure. She wouldn't have said might. I didn't understand why she was absent, and that made me all the more anxious. Damn it, what's going on today? It's like we started off on the wrong foot, and it wasn't going to get any better.
What's the matter, Keiichi-kun? You seem pretty down this morning.
Raina noticed how I looked and whispered to me while the teacher wasn't looking. Do I really seem that way?
Yeah. Even Rena is starting to feel down just looking at you.
I thought of jokingly saying, then don't look at me, but I didn't even feel like doing that.
Is it something you can tell Rena? I don't know what you're worried about, but if I can help, then you can tell me, okay?
I won't tease you. Raina said this, looking at me straight in the eye. Until yesterday, nothing strange had happened, and it was a lot of fun. Huh? Rena's eyes widened for a moment, not understanding what I meant, but she remained silent and listened. It was peaceful and fun. Every day was lively. I never had any doubt things would stay that way forever.
Yeah. You're right. Every day is fun. I'm sure today will be too.
You sure? How do you know?
Well...
Rena, feeling perplexed, couldn't think of something to say. I didn't blame her. What I was trying to say seemed a little confusing, even to me. When I think about it, I've been anxious lately. Like maybe since every day is fun, one day, all of a sudden, it would get really dark, like a light bulb turned off.
Yeah. Rena kind of understands how you feel.
Rena nodded gently.
We've always been taught that it wouldn't only be good things happening to us. Sometimes I'm scared of what's going on behind the fun. It's a little bit sad, but because of that, we learn how to do our best to make sure that the fun never stops.
I see.
So it's not a bad thing that you think of our fun lives might not go on forever, Keiichi-kun. Kind of like, like if suddenly there was a volcanic eruption tomorrow and everyone died.
That's a good example, Rena. Good example.
Oh, she says dark shit, but super happy. Like.
Mm-hmm.
I love Rena. She's so cute. Rena's
She
best girl.
is.
Yeah.
I love her.
Hey, wait. That's terrible.
If you were the only one who survived the catastrophe, Keiichi-kun, how would you feel?
How would I... I imagine myself being that sole survivor in the ruins of Hinamizawa. Rubble and the bodies of friends lying in heaps at my feet.
Oof.
Such an abhorrent sight. Oh god.
I mean, you didn't have to think of it that way, Keiichi.
Did you have to put that much fucking gruesome detail?
Right?
Was it sadder than all my friends had died? Or was it sadder that I couldn't have died with them? I don't know which, but I'd probably cry a lot.
Good.
It'd probably break my heart. Probably?
Aw.
Probably?
Maybe.
First, I think I'd cry.
And then maybe you would think this. If this was my destiny, then maybe I should have made sure every day was before this was as fun as possible, so I had no regrets.
I didn't want to consider such a horrible event to be my destiny. But I probably would think that.
The fun times will end one day, and nobody knows when they will. It makes sense to live each day to the fullest so that if it does happen tomorrow, you don't regret anything.
Yeah.
It's really hard to think like that. A lot of people take their everyday happiness for granted. They think tomorrow will be the same as today, so they leave things they could do today for tomorrow. They leave the kindness they could have shown today until tomorrow.
Rena was usually cheerful and silly, but right now, she wasn't like that at all. She wasn't taking my troubles seriously. It was a little reassuring.
But Keiichi-kun, you realized it. I think that's a wonderful thing. So that unease you have, I think you should keep it close to your heart.
Keep my knees close?
Yes. Everyone might die tomorrow in a big catastrophe.
Stop raising the red flags, Rena.
So, you should be really nice to everyone today. So when the end really does come, you don't regret it.
Do you do that, Rena? Live like you would have no regrets if everyone died tomorrow?
Yep.
It was such a hyperbolic conversation. But Rena just gave a nonchalant nod of her head.
Rena knows what it's like for the fun times to end overnight. She knows there's no proof tomorrow will be fun, even if today is. I'm living. Life to the fullest.
It seemed like Rena perfectly understood all the anxiety I couldn't put into words. And on top of that, like a reliable teacher, she showed me what to do. Oh. Hey, Keiichi Maibara, there's no need to cry now. Last night, I feel like I had a dream about Satoko. I don't remember what kind of dream it was, but ever since this morning, I felt anxious.
Because you thought seeing Satoko-chan's energetic face would cheer you up. Right?
She was right on the money. If everyone had been here with the smiles on their faces this morning, then the murk in my heart would have definitely been blown to smithereens.
Then, if Satoshi-kun, it's still buffering.
Uh-oh.
We're buffering, huh? If
Ah.
Satoko-chan arrives, you'll have to be nice to her. Actually, it's totally fine if you play your usual pranks on each other. As long as you're having fun.
Yeah, you're right. So that even if these fun days came to an end, I'd have no regrets. I couldn't tell if what Reina had told me had been comforting or just made me anxious. More anxious. But it was enough to make me think that if I saw Satoko again, I'd be honest with her. Lunchtime arrived, with everyone pushing their desks together like always. Satoko wasn't here. Despite that, we had bento boxes for 5 lined up on our desks. Rika-chan had made a bento for Satoko, too.
Was Satoko supposed to be here before lunch? Dot 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 dot.
Rika-chan was clearly acting strangely and not fucking telling us what happened. We were talking to her, but it felt like she was too far away to hear us. I've never seen Rika-chan so downcast. So, the rest of us started feeling down too. Oh no, she radiates depression now! Fuck!
No!
Spiral depression. Hey, Rena. I understood what she had said before pretty well. When we were together, we were supposed to have lots of fun so we wouldn't have any regrets if the world ended tomorrow. And yet, while I just resolved myself to do it, now we can't all be together. The hell. Because it was just so sudden, wasn't it? I mean, yesterday was fun, so who could believe it would all end today? No volcanoes had erupted and no earthquakes or fires happened either. The cicadas were making the same noises they did yesterday and the sun remained bright in the sky. It was the same normal day as always. So then, why... They pondered, Reina's chopsticks reached in front of my face and stole the fried chicken out of my bento. What?
Girl, same.
No! No!
Yeah!
No!
If no one else wants it, Rena will take it.
Give back my chicken!
Delicious.
No! Rena tossed the entire piece into her mouth and began munching on it. Her expression
Me fucking too. I love chicken katsu so fucking much.
No! No, not the chicken!
I'm such an old man. I don't know why she says that all the time. Rena got a leg up on me. All right. This old man's taking this bite of steak here.
Me, all my food is gone except my rice.
I need to think of a more distinct voice for Rika.
Rika-chan, also behind the curve, smiled again and went for someone else's bento. As I sat there, dazed at how quickly everyone had changed, Rena sent a wink over at me. Come on, Keiichi-kun. Live life to the fullest. That way, if a volcano erupts tomorrow, it'll be okay, Star.
Star.
This is serious. I'll be damned if dried plums and rice are the only things I have for lunch.
Me! It me!
Oh, yeah. I'm taking that meatball!
I'm taking that meatball.
I stuffed the meat into my mouth and constructed a clumsy smile.
You fucking meatballed, Rena.
Yeah, I played along as if trying to fool myself. But as I did, it rapidly became less and less of an act. The taco still wasn't here, but at some point we had regained our lively lunchtime. We had fun, we smiled, and we fooled around. Thanks, everyone. This was definitely the best thing to do. This way, when Satoko suddenly dropped by, we could welcome her with our best smiles. The more I smiled, the more I felt the anxiety from this morning clearing away. Isn't there a proverb that when something like fortune comes in by a merry gate?
I think so. If it's true, then this old man will roll around the floor laughing 24/7.
Rena thinks it's true. If you laugh every day, it'll be fun every day. Rena has a way with words.
Then, should we try it out? Everyone took a deep breath, then brought their faces together, locking shoulders. And then...
Me.
Everyone laughed uproariously from their stomachs, trying to laugh out all of their bad stuff accumulating in them.
They really say, I simply do not see it. I pretend I do not see the sad.
By the time our bento boxes were empty, everyone was right as rain. Hold on 1 second.
End scene. Uh-oh. Is Penguin gone? Is it supposed to be on auto? Oh no. Do I take over as the narrator? Having heard our friendly banter, Tomita-kun and Okamura-kun walked up and timidly spoke to us. Is it gonna go again? Is it gonna go again? I'm scared, but I'm prepared. I am prepared to take the role as your narrator for today. I don't even know if Penguin went on BRB. If his stream is still open, hello. My stream now, my city now. I don't even have his stream open. I don't know if anybody's saying anything. My stream now. Oh, hold on. I'll go over and see. Dun, dun, dun. Oh! It is still going. Oh, I'm here now. Hello, Penguin stream. Hello, chat. My stream now. I take it over. It's mine. I claim it. I put it in my mouth. I'm the narrator now. I wonder if he'll watch the VOD and see this. Or maybe he's just on mute this entire time. Hello, someone broke into my castle and stole all my stuff. That sucks, man. Wait. You live in a castle? That's fucking rad, though. How did someone break into your castle? Aren't castles supposed to have, like, a lot of security? Hello! Yes, I am here now. It's my stream now. Not mine? I don't know who you are. Well, I'm Plum. Hi! I move my little PNG around on my stream. Minecraft castle? Oh no! RIP! That sucks! Ooh, what does Penguin have for his redeems? Let me see. Penguin must stretch, hydrate. He has an Ara redeem? Fuck. Oh, I like your JPEG, Plum. Thank you, I drew it myself. I'm gonna be getting like an actual model soon. I'm very excited. But for now, I'm just a bouncing PNG. Yeah, I left the SME and the claim around my iron just vanished. No, that sucks. Aw. Was it like a server with like your friends or like a public server? Admittedly, I don't play Minecraft, so I don't really know how a lot of that works. Oh well, I feel that. You did a good job. Thank you! I'm not doing my model myself, but I figured at the very least I have enough skill to bust out a PNG for myself. But making a model is a very tedious task that I don't have the energy for. It's always a good feeling when you make your own stuff. Yeah, it is. I'm very proud of how this came out. I'm like, doing VTubing has made me like do more art, so I'm very proud of myself and how like my art's been improving in the couple of months that I've been doing VTubing and stuff.
Okay, I'm back.
Public server. Oh hi, I claimed your stream as my own. It's my stream now. I'm talking to your chat.
Oh yeah, take it. Fuck it. Sorry, my dog was tripping out.
Oh no, it happens sometimes. You're good. Poor Melody got stuff stolen from her Minecraft castle.
Oh no. Okay.
Okie doke.
Having heard our friendly banter, Amida-kun and Okamura-kun walked up and timidly spoke to us. Excuse me, my brother-san. Sorry to interrupt your fun, but we need your help with something. They grinned dryly and scratched their heads. What could it be? Want to know how to remove the censor bars in porn magazines?
What the fuck?
How the fuck do you do that?
Keiichi!
By the way, don't believe what you hear about butter doing the trick total superstition. You can't use an eraser either.
Keiichi!
I tried that as a kid, but
What the fuck, Keiichi?
Ain't go leave again, it was better when you were gone. Oh, JK. Damn, Koenig. Alright, buddy. That's how it is. Wait, what? Seriously?
Boing.
perfect sound effect for that.
Yeah!
That's not what we're here for, said Tomita-kun, elbowing Okamoto-kun. Actually, our ball got caught in the gutter on the second floor. We're thinking you might be able to reach it since you're tall. I see. Asking an upperclassman for help comes with its own price, you know? I'm not cheap. Can't buy me out so easily. Tomita-kun and Okamoto-kun conversed for a short time, then gave the reply. We'll give you the right to take a nap during class, my brother-san. How does that sound? What do you mean? I can sleep during class whenever I want. Why do you need your permission for it? Oh, no, you can't. Next time we take a nap, we'll tell Sensei about it.
Oh, the little tattletales.
Uh-oh.
I see. How sly.
You little... Where did you learn to bargain like that? Grr.
Grr.
Sorry. It was just a little joke.
Come on, Kei-chan. Why not just cave into your underclassmen's threats? Cuckoo.
Now Mion was getting on my nerves. Suddenly, it came to me, and I took Tomita-kun and Okamuto-kun's hands. Alright, I surrender. I'll get your ball for you, so give me all the rights to nap time. Huh? Oh, okay. Look, Mion. I now have the privilege. But you don't, do you? Tomita-kun, Okamuto-kun. Tell on Mion as soon as she falls asleep. Got it? Yeah! Rena and Rika-chan began to cackle at Keiichi-kun's victory. I wasn't sure how the ball managed to get stuck up there. It was planted firmly in the school building's second floor gutter. Hand me that stick. I should be able to reach it. Here we go. Ugh. I took a bamboo pole and poked the ball with it. Damn, it's hard. Come on. Oh, he got it. You got it, my brother-san. Thank you so much. The ball rolled down the gutter and fell down behind the school building. My underclassman ran over in that direction, leaving me by myself. Mission complete, I guess. Eesh. Eesh. There was still a lot of time until lunch break was over. Guess I should go back to the classroom. I'd absorb myself in silly conversation with everyone and wait for afternoon classes. Just when I thought I had that and turned towards the entrance, someone suddenly called out to me. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Hello
Middle-aged man.
Hello there, good day. Sorry for bothering you during your lunch break. Was a middle-aged man I didn't know. Or maybe I'd passed by him a few times and I'd seen his face, but I didn't know him. When his half-smile steepened, something within me guttered with fear.
Me too, Keiichi.
Uh-oh. He's like a harbinger of disaster in these stories, isn't he?
In what?
I remember in the first chapter, Rena and Mion said that Oishi-san was like a harbinger of disaster.
Oh, yes,
Like,
yes, they don't like him.
Yeah, every time he shows up, they'd say, like, fuck everything up.
Yeah.
There was no basis for that. No reason. But I shuddered. I was somewhat confused about these emotions, not quite understanding them myself. There was one thing I could say, though. Nobody but teachers and students should be at school.
Yeah.
This person shouldn't have been here. I felt less of a tremble and more of a sense of dread. Like a caterpillar brilliantly colored in garish... Bilious? Bilious? Greens?
I think bilious.
Were crawling around across my forehead. Ew.
Ewy.
A feeling of disgust that neither itchy nor gross could describe as frizzly, dreadful hair rubbed against my brow. I didn't even want to see his face.
Ew.
I wanted to jump backwards and run away. An unpleasant feeling for which I didn't even know the cause. The other side of myself has nothing but questions. Hey, what are you doing? What are you disgusted by? This is the first time you've met him. It's rude to hate someone for no reason. No answers were coming. I held my silence, waiting, a damp sweat running down my forehead.
Oishi failed the vibe check.
Like, fuck. Rolled a 1. Rolled a fucking 1 right there. When he saw that, Oishi thought maybe he was being intimidating and gave me a relaxed smile. Oh, please excuse me. I'm no one suspicious, I assure you.
That really clears your suspicion right there. I'm not suspicious. I'm not sus. What are you talking about?
That is screenshot worthy right there, Jesus. I'm Oishi. I'm the Okamiya Police Department. Wait, where did I put my card? Huh? What? This is... What?
Me too.
He fished through various pockets and finally found his police ID and showed it to me, grinning dryly. He may have been trying to use those clumsy-seeming actions to ease my anxiety, but I could definitely say it didn't work. Why was I this nervous? There was a reason, of course. If I wanted today to be the same as before, then today didn't need someone who hadn't been there back then. The fact that a man who wasn't here yesterday showed up today meant that today would be a different day than those before it.
Yeah, Keiichi.
Okay, buddy, that makes sense. Yeah.
Alright, bud.
That would mark the end of a fun and happy days. Really? That's a real downer.
Really?
Real downer, man. I gulped and eased that ominous conclusion from my mind. Calm down, Keiichi Maibara. It's just an old guy who looks like kind of perverted and came from the police department. Don't go deciding that fun times.
I feel like that's a good reason to decide that the fun times are over if that is your conclusion.
What? Who looks kind of perverted?
I also really love that whenever Keiichi does his self pep talk, he refers to himself as Keiichi Maibara, not just Keiichi.
Yeah, he has to be all formal with himself.
Mm-hmm.
Just came here because of his job. Yeah, just for his job. If he's working, then he would normally go to the teacher's lounge, right? The fact that he spoke to me, yes, it must have been to ask where it was. Are you looking for the teacher's lounge? You just have to go through the entrance and... I didn't want to look at this man for another second, so I started pushing him along. Oishi, however, didn't seem to have any interest in the teacher's lounge. Oh, no. I don't have anything to do there. Could I get you to call a friend of yours, if I may be so bold? No, a friend? Who? A girl.
That could be anyone.
Could you call Satoko Hojo-san for me? My consciousness grew faint, like I was about to pass out. Yes, my anxiety was realized. The dreadful, disgusting caterpillar was looking at me, about to crawl into my ear. Its frizzly, dreadful hair was touching my ear cavity. That's how bad it felt. What do the police need with Satoko? No. It's nothing important. I just had 2 or 3 things to ask. That's
sus.
I'd like it if you could cooperate with me. Why? Why, of all people, was it Satoko? Why would a police officer come here in the middle of the day for something that wasn't important? This man was strange. I could smell it.
Stinky.
It smelled bad. Just a whiff of it made me want to grimace. He's wearing Axe body spray or some shit, isn't he?
He's just fucking sweaty.
That too.
That's why he likes his air conditioning so much. He's so sweaty without it.
Oh, dude, I love air conditioning. I wish my job had it. Fuck.
Aww.
I knew that this man couldn't possibly be here to deliver her lost wallet or anything. I couldn't imagine what he needed from Satoko, but it had to be something unpleasant. Ah. My throat stung with burning pain. Burned like parched, creviced wasteland. The wasteland broke apart deep in my throat and brought out the words from deep in my mind. You may need something from her, but I don't think Satoko needs anything from you. Could you please leave? He's telling
Oof.
Oof, that's ballsy.
He just tells the police to leave. I love that for him.
That's ballsy. Well, she probably hadn't expected that reply. He stood there surprised for a few moments. I did as well. I hadn't thought words like that would ever come out of my mouth. Things might still work out. The guy may have shown up out of the blue, but if I drove him off, maybe I could make it so that it never happened? If I could do that, then I could get back. At least we had until yesterday. I could get it back. Well, you sure are strict. Are you Satoko-san's manager, perhaps? Can I not see her without an appointment? No. If you just want to talk to her, shouldn't you just call her? Barging into school in the middle of the day isn't normal. Breaking through a dam would have been the perfect analogy to use. Why didn't I like this man? This man shouldn't have been here. I needed to make it so this man wasn't here. Childish, selfish emotions bubbled up from the depths of my mind, and they each came out of my mouth just as it had been formed. Not liking the guy was my own problem, but to say things so bluntly to him, even I thought it was crazy. Oh, you're the logical sort, aren't you? I'm not too good with people who talk like that. Oishi grinned and scratched at his sweaty throat. Even as he feigned stupidity, I could tell he was irritated. Hey, Keiichi Maibara, why am I looking for a fight with this old policeman here? It's not like he brought the gift of misfortune with him, all wrapped up in paper, right? Hey, it wasn't like he had bought a package of misfortune with him and was asking me to sign here, please. Rationally speaking, I understood all that. So then, why was I so... Finally, I outlasted Oishi in her game of silence, and he gave a big sigh. And he addressed a few of my female underclassmen running around nearby. Oh, excuse me, all of you. Do you have a moment? I'd like you to call Satoko Hojo-san if you could. My underclassmen tried to smile and reply, but they noticed the oddly stiff air atmosphere around me and seemed hesitant to give a quick answer. Is she not here? Satoko Hojo-san. Hojo-san, she stayed home today. Stayed home? His face remained smiling, but his tone was clearly one of ill humor. Such conscious spite caused my underclassmen, who had answered honestly, to cringe in fear. I see. No. Dear me. I'm quite unlucky. He was smiling broadly, but the way he laughed didn't make me feel better at all. When he noticed that his laughter wasn't getting anyone else to laugh with him, he immediately stopped. So, you girls, could you tell me the name of this boy here? He grabbed the girls by the shoulders so they wouldn't run away and crouched down to address them at eye level. Oh shit. The girls flinched away from the sharp, piercing light in his eyes. In exchange for the release, they didn't resist and told him my name. I see. Keiichi Maibara-san, isn't that it? He said my full name. That was all he said, and yet I couldn't help but shudder. It was like he had grabbed me by the collar just with those words. Oh, could you be the son of the Maibara family I've heard so much about? No. I hear your father is a renowned artist. His works go on display twice a year at the Great Exhibition in Tokyo, don't they? I don't know what sort of fantastic pictures he creates, though. Then there's your mother. She seems intelligent, too. I heard she was a high academic achiever. She went to some girls' university, didn't she? It's amazing for someone that age to have graduated from a girls' university. Could your mother actually be the daughter of a respectable family? At least those are the rumors they say. She's a cold person because of it. Did you know that? You only went to the very first neighborhood association meeting, right? That's certainly no good. You can't disrespect your neighbors in a place like this. A sense of eeriness slithered up my spine. This was my first experience of true terror. I couldn't believe it felt this terrible for someone you've just met to know everything about you already. Oishi clamped on my shoulders and brought his eyes close to peer into mine. In a place like this, it would be far better not to make enemies, wouldn't it? If not... Ow! Oishi dug into my shoulders with inhuman strength. Then, if something unexpected were to happen, you might see some drawbacks. Have you ever heard of karma? It's like how a butterfly flapping its wings can cause a tornado. Grudges born into strange places could come back to you in ways you wouldn't believe. You wouldn't like that, would you? Nobody wants to have a grudge held against them. There's nothing positive about making enemies. What's the matter? Your shoulders are very stiff.
That's...
Did I give you a massage? See? Feels good, right?
Sir.
Ow, 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 ow!
Stop it.
This man wasn't just strong, it was like he knew exactly where to press to make me feel pain. Gah! Only 4 or 5 more fingers on my shoulders, and yet the pain made me want to bend over backwards. Ugh. A few of the girls from my class were pretty shaken up, but didn't seem to want to help me. They weren't sure if they should go call the teacher. Maybe? As for me, I couldn't take time to wait until the teacher got here. It hurts. Would you mind leaving things at that? You're hurting it. Behind Oishi-san, someone. To my disbelief, it was Coach. Oh my. If it isn't Dr. Ide. It certainly has been a while since we were last in touch. Discomforted by Coach's sudden appearance, Oishi laughed scornfully. The vice on my shoulders, however, remained as strong as ever. Never mind the greetings. Please, just let go of my Barakun. Oishi smiled daringly and glared straight at Coach. He didn't release me in the meantime, of course. I was just thinking of stopping by your place later, Doctor. You always seem so busy when we can never have a good chat. Yes. If you want, I'll chat with you all you like. Please be sure to have a warrant first. After all, otherwise, I can refuse to go voluntarily into questioning. Coach didn't display a shred of weird behavior he'd shown at the baseball game and barbecue. He stared steadily at Oishi and fought so hard so that he would release me. His chances were terribly bad, of course. Compared to the relaxed Oishi, Coach seemed like he was being defeated mentally. It made sense. Coach had a somewhat narrow stature, but Oishi's body was packed with muscles. It wasn't even a contest. But Coach was fighting for me without taking a step back. Beads of sweat on his face, and though he paled, he was fighting for my sake.
You're so good at, like, the old man laugh.
Am I?
Yeah.
I see.
You got the old anime grandpa laugh down.
I guess. Yeah. Suddenly, Oishi laughed and let go of my shoulders. My body, exhausted, fell right onto my backside. Ibara-kun, are you alright? Damn it! Ow!
Ow.
I rubbed my shoulders where Oishi had latched onto them. The pain from falling over went away quickly. This pain was lingering. Are you alright, Marbetta-kun? This is terrible. Get ow, ow. I was just giving him a little massage. No. Marbetta-san, aren't you over-exaggerating a bit? Boys have got to learn to man up. No. I wanted to retort, but I couldn't think of anything witty. Can you lift your shoulders? Are they in pain? If they're really hurt, then you should have a proper checkup. Go to the nurse's office. Coach lent me his shoulder and walked beside me. What an exaggeration. I'd be the last person to ignore any sort of permanent damage. Right? I am still an active police officer, you know. No. Come, I don't know what you needed to be here for, but if you're finished, then please leave. I'm going to complain about this directly to the chief, so please keep that in mind. Oh, that's a problem, ain't it? No. Oishi-san waved his hand sarcastically, pivoted around, and headed to the car parked by the school gates. And without turning back around, he got in and started the engine. Damn it. Who the hell was he? Damn it. He's a detective named Kuruaudu Oishi. And a hooligan. Everyone in the village hates him. My brother-san, you should be careful too. Kuruaudu. Ah, damn, my tongue gets twisted saying that. Kuruaudu Oishi. Just like I thought, my gut instinct wasn't wrong. He would be the one to bring unhappiness, misfortune, something that would ruin our peace. Shit, I won't accept it.
Keiichi said shit!
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he said shit!
Didn't he? Hasn't he sworn before?
I don't know, but just like all this time, he always goes, damn, hell!
Okay.
Shit's like another level, you know? It's like next on the tier list of cursing.
Shit and fuck, I guess. Shit
and fuck.
Okay. All these fun days can't possibly end just because some guy like him showed up. I won't accept it. Coach seemed to be familiar with the school, so he brought me to the nurse's office without much trouble. The girls from my class came along as well, looking worried. Our teacher and the principal, having noticed the disturbance, came to see what was the matter. My Barakun! Derp!
What's wrong? Are you hurt?
Oh, well. There's this weird man in the schoolyard just now, and my son!
Coach gently interrupted the girls trying to explain. No. It looks like he just fell and twisted something. I think he's alright, but I wanted to make sure. If it's fine with you, I'll ball the nurse's office for a bit.
Why are you covering for him?
Because he's got shit to hide, I think. Probably.
Yeah.
So he's like, I'm not going to bring up the police
rat him
officer.
out, yeah.
Please do, Dr. IDA. Principal gave him a deep bow. It looked like the coach was acquainted with adults at the school. He slid open the doors to the nurse's office, but there wasn't a nurse in there or anything. I'd figured. I'd never seen anyone but Chi-sensei and the principal working here. Coach didn't seem to mind the fact that there was no nurse and quickly made his way to the nurse's office. He instructed me to sit down and started washing his hands in the sink. Oh, I get it. He's the coach for the boys' baseball team. He must be pretty used to treating wounds in first aid.
He is a doctor.
Show me where it was. Are you still in pain? No, it doesn't hurt at all anymore. I'm fine, really. I rolled up my shirt and showed him my shoulder. No bruise, not even nail marks. And yet it hurt so much that my shoulders would crushed. Even the pain had disappeared without a trace. It hurt so much, but not so much as a bruise remained. It just means he's used to doing that. Used to it, huh? Next time you meet him, don't provoke him. Nothing good will come of making him angry. If you go home with an uniformed policeman by your side, your family won't like that. Okay. Well, you're right. Still. What happened? Why did you end up in a fight with him? He came up and said he needed something from Satoko.
Oh, he's angry.
Satoko-chan. Coach's gaze lowered and his expression clouded a bit. Somehow, that gesture seemed He'd be saying that Oishi was bound to come to Satoko and did, and that it was no laughing matter. Coach fell silent in thought. Rightly, he took a compress out of his first aid kit and put it on me. Does he still plan on clinging to Satoko-chan? He's a persistent man, I'll give him that. Like a snake. Coach mumbled to himself. Cling? Does that Oishi guy go to Satoko's place a lot? Coach didn't answer, but the lack of denial served well enough. What on earth is a policeman, probably a detective or something, need from Satoko? What mistake had led to a detective cling to the sweet smiling Satoko? Oh crap, I gotta do the cursed Alright. Alright, Melody, here you go. See, that's how a penguin does it.
That's so good.
It's cursed as fuck. It's cursed, so fucking cursed. That's
It's
why,
so good, but it's so fun.
That's why it's priced at 666 points.
I love it.
What mistake had led to a detective to cling so sweetly, smiling to Toko? Moments like these where it's just dudes talking makes me feel bad.
No, you're fine. It's
Like,
okay.
if you want to voice one of the dudes, go right ahead, but otherwise it's just me talking.
It'd be like that sometimes. It's okay.
I don't mind it either way, but yeah. If you want to, let me know.
Okay.
My brother's son. Alright. You just moved here, didn't you? Yes. I did, but... Have you heard anything about Orishiro-sama's curse and about Satoko-chan?
Oh, plenty.
Well, I knew a few things about it, certainly. Satoko's parents were dam proponents. And the accidental death was because of the curse, you mean that? Coach smiled thinly and dryly. So you know, he said, dropping his gaze. If I recalled correctly, there was an accident on a viewing platform at the public park she'd gone with her family and her parents died.
Yep.
And then, it was just big brother and little sister. And then she was with Rika-chan and... When they lost their parents, Satoko-chan and her brother, Satoshi-kun, were given to their uncle and his wife to care for them. Oh, is that so? Their parents died in the accident and Satoshi ran away, leaving only Satoko to start living with Rika-chan. I'd known that much, but this is the first time I'd heard they'd been brought to their uncle and aunt. Their uncle was Satoko-chan's father's younger brother. Unfortunately, neither of the couples were people deserving of respect.
That's harsh.
Coach normally picked his words politely. But when he came out and said they didn't deserve respect, it really made me wonder what kind of people they were. As soon as Satoko-chan's parents came out in support of the dam, their uncle and aunt took on a lot of shame in the village as well. They would never have welcomed Satoko and Toshi-kun. I've heard that for the siblings, it was a very rough life. Bit by bit, Coach told me about the numerous agonies the Hojo siblings had suffered at their uncle's house. As their guardians, their aunt and uncle sucked up everything belonging to their immediate family. Toko and Satoshi were crammed in a small room and their lives were laden with things that were miserable both for their bodies and minds. In the first place, since apparently their aunt and uncle weren't on good terms, there was no end to their fighting. And as if in revenge for that, whenever they saw Satoko or Satoshi's face, they would always find fault with them, scold them, yell at them, strike them, and take away their meals as punishment.
Yeah.
That's
fucking rough.
Still shudder to think about it. Child abuse. Not pleasant.
Yep.
Not
Nope.
pleasant.
Not at all.
You've never known any Satoko but the energetic and healthy one now, so you probably couldn't imagine her face being so deathly pale. A girl always standing dazed in the shade of trees. I couldn't imagine it, and I didn't want to. That was just honestly how I felt. But at the very least, Satoko wasn't like that anymore. She may have had a miserable life in the past, but it was different now. Something happened to change that life. Last year, on the night of the Watanagashi festival, their aunt died. He was beaten to death by a deviant with a baseball bat. Rumors spread of the curse having killed an enemy of the village on the night of the festival. This death wasn't a simple homicide either. They whispered that it was actually Oyashiro-sama's curse. 2 days later, the deviant arrested for drug use confessed to further offenses and the incident was resolved. However, though it was resolved, no one knew whether the part about it being Oyashiro-sama's curse was true or not. Their uncle is part of Hinamizawa after all. He apparently grew incredibly frightened of Oyashiro-sama's curse and went into hiding. From what I've heard, he's staying with an intimate lady friend somewhere in Okinomiya.
Intimate lady friend.
I see. And Satoko and Satoshi? Were they released? Their aunt died and their uncle fled. There was nobody left to torment the siblings then, but as if picking up the torch, that man started showing up with alarming tenacity. That man? The coach lowered his voice just a bit as if being aware of his surroundings. I mean Oishi. Oishi. The guy from before. The events that just occurred came back to me. The hard to describe ominous sensation I'd felt from him came back to me. He's a little strange. The chain of incidents surrounding Oyashiro-sama's curse have all been solved, and yet he alone doesn't want to accept that. Accept it? Incidents were all solved, and a detective supposedly with the police department didn't accept that? People say that something bad will surely happen to those he gets close to. In Hinamizawa, they think Oishi is Oyashiro-sama's.
Kei-chan!
The door flew open with a rattle and Mion came rushing in. Reina and Rika-chan came running in a few steps behind her, and Tomita-kun, Okamura-kun, and a few other classmates.
Kei-chan! Did Oishi do something to you? Are you hurt?
Calm down, Mion-san. He's not injured. Only give him a compress just in case.
Keiichi-kun, are you really okay? Okay? Everyone was saying stuff about how you were being strangled.
Calm down, Rena. He just squeezed my shoulders really hard. See, there's not even a bruise.
Me.
Jeez. What in the heck were you all doing? We're friends, right? Why were you just standing around? Why didn't you help Kei-chan?
We're sorry, President.
Oh.
Mion yelled at her classmates, baring her fangs. Amita-kun and the others hung their heads in silence. Quit it, Mion. Amita-kun and the others weren't even here. Stop blaming them.
Damn it! Oishi!
Mion kicked the floor with her heel a few times, her temper running hot. Our teacher, overhearing the commotion, arrived as well.
Hey, come on, everyone! Don't make so much noise in the nurse's office. President, take everyone and leave, please.
Come on, everyone. Let's get going. Keiichi-kun is fine. You too, Mi-chan.
Mion was letting her emotions get the best of her, so Rena stepped in instead and led everyone out of the nurse's office. The detective from Okinomiya Station, Kuradu Koishi. It looked like the first impression I'd gotten from it hadn't been mistaken. Satoko's absence had amplified the vague apprehensions I'd felt since yesterday. And Oishi-san's appearance basically sealed the deal. Alright. I'll get going. I originally came here for Chi-sensei. Ah, so you had something to do here. Sorry for causing you trouble. Don't be so humble, he said, smiling easily. There was a side benefit to all this. I was lucky enough to experience so much of your soft, silky skin, my verdict. Dude, come on!
Gross!
You were...
Why'd you have to make it gross?
You were doing so good. You were doing so good right
Mhm.
there, being like a legit character, and
Right?
you fuck it up.
You had to fuck it up.
Foo.
Star.
With the usual, for Coach anyway, parting words, he instead continued. Please excuse me. You weren't wounded badly, but please avoid putting pressure on your shoulders or anything around those lines. If you get a high fever or it starts to swell, contact me right away, okay? I don't think it'll happen, though. Oh, that's right, Coach. Before everyone came in, you were going to say something. About what people think Oishi-san is to Oyashiro-sama. I was about to leave the nurse's office. Coach placed a hand on the door and stopped. Right. They think he's Oyashiro-sama's servant. They're just bad-mouthing him now. Oyashiro-sama's servant? It's funny, that's what I was talking about earlier, wasn't it? Okay. Do you know about the serial freak death incidents that occur in Hinamizawa every year on the night of the Watanagachi festival? Otherwise known as Oyashiro-sama's curse?
Oh,
What?
quite well.
What freak deaths? What? Now that I thought about it, it did seem to remember overhearing Mion or someone in class talking about it like a ghost story. On the festival day in June, one person would always die. And another person would be spirited away. But they seem to call it demoning away here. What a fun story that was. I figured they made it up to scare me, but it was true? I don't have any idea who first suggested this. But at some point, everyone started calling Oishi Orishiro-sama's servant. Why? Because the rumors go that he decides the sacrifices for the curse every year. Whenever June came around, Oishi-san would start paying frequent visits to Hinamizawa. Because Oishi-san had persistently questioning most of the dead or disappeared people. 4 years ago, it was known that the victim of the dismemberment, rumored to be the sacrifice, had been seeing Oishi numerous times before leading to the incident.
Spooky.
Okay. The sacrifices 3 years ago were Satoko's parents. Right before their accidental deaths, Oishi-san had apparently visited their home. The one who disappeared 2 years ago is Rika-chan's mother. And again, people know that before she vanished, Oishi-san had been talking to her extremely frequently. The one who disappeared last year, Satoko's older brother, Satoshi. Satoshi too had apparently been approached by Oishi many times before he vanished. And then this time, Oishi-san was trying to contact Satoko? This isn't a freaking joke. They're rumors, my Bada-san. There's just some rumors to that effect. I hadn't said that because of the rumors of Oishi-san being Oyashiro-sama's servant, of his contacting someone foreshadowing who would be the sacrifice this year. It was because the ominous hatred I felt towards Oishi was becoming more substantial, more real. Today Satoko, she was absent today. Wait, really? That looked like news to Coach. I thought he might have known Satoko was absent today, but... Then I'll get going. You should go back to the others and put their minds at ease. You're right. I will. Splatter. Coach left the nurse's office and headed towards the teacher's lounge. Oof. Oof. Oof.
Well, it's getting pretty late over here, so I think I'm gonna have to call it here.
I
Because I think I'm a couple hours ahead of you.
Oh yeah, you're EST, I think?
Yes, I'm EST.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. Sorry to keep me so long.
Oh my gosh, no, you're fine. 4 hours is that's standard. You're good.
Yeah, I was...
And it was great being able to experience Higurashi as a VN, because I've read the manga, I've seen the anime, but I haven't actually played the VN before, so this was nice.
Yeah, I've only watched the first 10 episodes of the first anime back when it came out.
Yes,
and I remember not liking that the timelines kept restarting.
Yes.
I remember hating that back then, but then over time, I've slowly decided to get back into it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I thought about watching the show, but then I'm like, fuck it, I'll just stream the fucking visual novel, so I'll do that. Yeah.
Well, Well, hopefully you're enjoying it.
I am. I actually really enjoy reading it.
That's awesome.
But
Yeah.
yeah, let me just exit out of this.
You'll have to get to Umineko eventually.
Oh, good God, no. No. I've heard that shit is long.
Yes, my boyfriend read it all of last year and it took him I think 200 hours, right? I think
Good.
200 hours.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
I've
It's an investment.
I heard it's ridiculous. I didn't.
Mhm.
But yeah, thank you for coming out tonight, Plum.
Thank you so much for having me. It was
Yeah,
great.
yeah. If you're ever interested in coming back, I'd be happy because I'll
Oh,
be.
I'd love to, especially when things get crazy.
Yeah, these are gonna take me a long time, so
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Yeah,
but
thank
thank
you
you.
for having me, and
Mhm.
I hope that you enjoy what you got, like, moving forward. I'm interested to see what you think. If anything, like, crazy happens, let me know, and
Mhm.
I just wanna, like, laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Yes, it is raffle
Alright.
time. But yeah, thank you, Plum. Let me give you one more shout out. Anybody who
Thank
wants to check out
you.
Plum, there you go. Why is it not popping up? There you go. There it goes. There it goes.
There it goes.
Yeah. But thank you so much. I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
next week or the week after or whatever.
Yeah, we'll discuss.
For sure. Thank you, Plum.
Yes, thank you for having me. Have a good night.
You too. Good night, Plum. Everybody wish her good
Bye.
night.
Bye, good night, everybody.
Night.
Bye.
Alright, now we gotta do this raffle real quick. Okay, so now we gotta type in Oishi in the chat. That'll be the code word this time. Since he's been a prominent character. Okay, we got Melody. Oh, anybody else want to enter? I'll give you 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's do this. I wonder who's gonna win. I wonder. Oh shit, it's Melody. Congrats, Melody. I never would have guessed you'd win. Alright, you knew the drill. You know the drill, Melody. Let me know which one you want. But yeah, thanks to everybody coming out. Thanks again to Plum for coming and helping me out. I really appreciate that. But yeah, let's choose somebody to raid. Uh, oh fuck it, we're raid index. Let me see. She's playing Tales of Symphonia. Nice, nice. Okay, this will be the main message. Alright, everybody, we're gonna check out Index. She's playing Tales of Symphonia. It's a really fun RPG I played back in the day. He's pretty cool. Let's go say hi. But yeah, thanks guys for coming out, and I'll see y'all next time. Good night, everybody.